Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for the Tech Guy is provided by CacheFly. CacheFly.com. Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Radio Network on Sunday, October 22nd, 2017. This is episode 1433. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Home plays a big role in your life. That's why Quicken Loans created Rocket Mortgage. It lets you apply simply and understand the entire mortgage process fully, so you can be confident you're getting the right mortgage for you. Get started at rocketmortgage.com/techguy. And by Fracture. Fracture is a photo decor company that prints your photos directly onto glass. Then they get delivered to your door, ready to display right out of the box. Visit fracture.me and use the code TECH15 at checkout to get 15% off your first order. And by Video Blocks, by Storyblocks. Uncage your creativity. Get all the stock video you need for only $149 a year. Visit videoblocks.com/techguy to save on millions of studio quality clips from Video Blocks. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. Time to talk about tech, computers, and the internet, and home theater, and digital photography, and smartphones, smartwatches. We even talk about the tech of travel. Johnny Jett's coming in a little later on to talk about how to use apps and websites to travel better. If you have a question or a comment or a suggestion you're ready to buy, if you got something you want to get off your chest, 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number. 888-827-5536. That's toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Outside that area, you can still call. You just Skype out to that number, and it's a toll-free number. Shouldn't cost you anything. Website, techguylabs.com. We're in an interesting period right now with smartphones because I'm using... right now, I always use more than one phone. I have accounts with all the major carriers so that I can have phones, all the top-of-the-line phones. Right now, I'm using a Galaxy Note 8. I've always been a Note fan, and it's a really beautiful screen and gorgeous phone. And the iPhone 8 Plus, because I like big phones. And it's a weird situation because these phones, which just came out, we're only going to have a month or two, and then there won't be... Then Apple comes out with its next iPhone, a month later, the iPhone 10. And Google is coming out now with its Pixel 2 XL. Theoretically, it's out. I don't think you can get it even at Verizon at this point. I went into the Verizon store just to see on Friday. And they had lots of the Pixel 2s, the 5-inch screen, but they didn't have any of the XL, the extra large ones. That's the one people want. It's got a OLED screen. OLED is where all of these phones are going. Even Apple is going to do an OLED screen with the iPhone 10. It's a different technology from the LCD panels. In fact, even in TVs, OLED TVs are kind of widely considered to be the best quality picture compared to an LCD TV. And it's true in phones as well, although the phones, a lot of the phones with OLED screens, like Samsung's, are often overbright and oversaturated because it looks, you're not watching TV, you're just looking at icons and applications, and so it looks more, it pops a little bit more. But you can change the settings on that. Google's getting a little heat right now. There are only two companies that make OLED screens, organic light-emitting diode. It's a completely different technology from liquid crystal diode. The OLED is an actual emissive pixel in the screen. It doesn't have a backlight. The pixels themselves emit light, and it's I guess pretty hard to make because there's only two companies, at least two big companies, two companies that can make them in enough quantity that Google or Apple could use them, and that's Samsung and LG. Apple's using a Samsung panel, but Google's decided to go with the OLED from LG. I say this slowly because it sounds like nonsense, but if And if I say it fast, it's just going to sound like I'm going to go down gobbledygook. The OLED from LG, it's a POLED. But that doesn't, I think that's just a marketing term compared to the Samsung AMOLED. But you're going to see a lot of reviews now of this Pixel 2 phone saying, it's terrible, the Pixel 2 XL. And it's the same exact screen as in the the new LG phone, the V30. And people are saying, oh, it's blotchy and weird, and I'm seeing people complain about burn-in. I have to say, when I did go to the Verizon store to play with this, I did notice some burn-in on one of the demo phones. You know, where the persistence of the screen, previous screen, like you see the Google menus, the Android menus at the bottom, like burnt in, you can't get rid of them. That would be bad if that's the case. That's a hard thing to fix. I did look carefully at the blotchiness. When you go to the phone store and look at these phones, if you look at the brightness setting, it's all the way up. Same thing for a TV. They want it to pop. They want you to go, wow, that's good. And bright makes it look better. The colors are richer. It jumps out at you. So they turn, you know, before they put it in the demo area, they take the slider and they push it all the way to the right. And they turn off auto dimming. They just dump all the way up. You would never use it that way because the battery life would go away, and it doesn't need to be that bright. It's a kind of unnaturally bright. So I went in and I turned the Pixel 2 XL down because that's what people say when it's dim, the screen is blotchy. And yeah, there's a little blotchiness, but it doesn't bother me. It's not. I don't think it's unattractive. I guess unfortunately, once somebody tells you about it, you're more likely to see it. If you just use the phone, I don't think you'd even notice it. But then now everybody says, oh, it's blotchy, and you're going to see blotchy screens. I like the LG V30. I think it's a great phone, and I think the Pixel 2 XL will be a very nice phone. I've ordered one, but I'm not going to get it till for 3 weeks. And in 5 days, this Friday, 12:01 Pacific time, Friday morning, I'm going to leap out of bed and try to order a iPhone 10. So we'll see. So as much as I love, and I have to say, these iPhone 8 Plus and the Note 8, these are great. There is nothing wrong with these phones. The screens are great. They're fast, super fast. They take amazing pictures, and all of a sudden they're obsolete. In 3 weeks, boom. Something else is coming around. That's what's both exciting and frustrating about technologies. It's changing all the time. Another thing we talk about a lot on the show, and I'm sorry we have to talk about it again, is security flaws. The crack flaw with a K, K-R-A-C-K, is a flaw in the encryption your Wi-Fi uses. And it's pretty serious. For a long time, we told you, I've been telling you for 10 years, don't use WEP, WEP encryption on your Wi-Fi because that's insecure. It was cracked almost out of the box. Use WPA2. That's the good stuff. That's the gold standard. In fact, that's all you need to do to secure your Wi-Fi. Wrong, turns out. It has a problem. Young security researcher named Matty Van Hoff discovered that you can, but what's interesting is, and I think this might be misrepresented sometimes in the media, it's not your access point that's the problem, not your router. It's the things that connect to your router. You don't need to patch your router. You need to patch your phone, your laptop, the things that connect to the Wi-Fi. Your internet cameras, your internet ovens, your internet doorbells. All of those things need to be fixed. If not, then somebody who is within range of your Wi-Fi, sitting on your curb or next to you in the coffee shop, can easily get in the middle and see what that device is sending back. Not such a big deal, you know, if it's your oven. They can see what you're cooking. Might be a big deal if it's a internet-connected camera. They can see into your house. And certainly the traffic coming from your phone or laptop on an access point, well, that we'd like to hide. And we thought we could. Although it's always been an issue, right, with open Wi-Fi access points. People have always worried about that, and we've recommended the use of virtual private networks or VPNs. Those will protect you against the crack attack as well. And all this stuff is going to be patched. Turns out Windows and iOS didn't implement the WPA2 protocol quite right, and so they're not vulnerable. Still, they're getting patched. And even your router will probably get some patches. Most importantly, if you have one of those mesh routers, you know, the Eero and the Orbi and the routers that have satellites that they connect to, they're vulnerable because the satellites are clients. They're connecting to the router. So they're vulnerable as well. So you will want to look for patches. And I know I talked to the Eero folks. They're working on a patch. They're one of our sponsors, so it's the first thing I did is call them. It's their beta testing it. They're testing it to make sure it doesn't break anything. And if it doesn't, and I'm sure it won't, then in a few days they'll push it out. Look for Android updates too. Android needs to be patched. Not a nice one. Not a nice one. Kind of a surprise even. But the good news is fixable. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, we are going to talk to you in just a moment. Your phone call's next. Yeah, I'm seeing this tweet from Stacy. Your June oven is safe from crack. It's protected by SSL. That is not necessarily enough. With PIN certificates, that might make it okay. It is theoretically, we talked about this with Steve on Tuesday on Security Now. Theoretically, SSL can even be man in the middle during this attack. That's something that's not as big a problem if you're on a laptop or a phone, because you can look at the certificate and say, oh, I'm not connected to what I think I'm connected to. I don't know how you would do that on your oven. On the other hand, I don't know who would want to hack your oven. Yeah, I haven't played with that yet, Dr. Mom. I'm the only one who I don't think Lisa's not interested in training the Echo. I don't think. We'll see. Maybe she is. There he is, ladies and gentlemen. Johnny Jett, all dressed up.
It's dark, huh?
Just back from church. But you can't wear your jammies to church. It looks like you just put a jacket on over your jammies.
Pretty close.
That's a jazzy shirt. Very jazzy.
That's my airplane shirt.
Oh, is it? You only wear... Oh, it is. Cute. I like that. Johnny Jett wearing a Johnny Jett shirt.
I just had a rehearsal for a big event I'm emceeing at this week.
Oh.
I'm in New York City.
Is it a secret?
It's at Carnegie Hall.
What?
Yeah.
What? You're emceeing Carnegie Hall?
So fingers crossed how it goes.
Man, you made it. You have made it.
If I do a good job on Tuesday, maybe I could say that, but the jury's still out.
Do you have, are you giving a, hey, Jack.
Jack.
Are you giving a speech or what are you doing?
I'm seeing some big CEOs of 4 airlines.
Wow, you are a real up-and-comer, Johnny Jett.
It's going to be a good challenge.
Yeah.
But they flew my whole family and I first class to New York City.
Wow.
Pretty good.
Wow. He's been everywhere. It's Johnny Jett time, an unusual time for Mr. Jett to join us, but he's a busy man. He's a big shot in New York City. Tell him what you're going to be doing, Johnny Jett. You're going to be at Carnegie Hall?
I'm going to be at Carnegie Hall. I'm seeing a big airline event. I can't tell you which one because I didn't get permission, but there's going to be 4 CEOs. And,
you are quite the up-and-comer in the travel biz.
I'm trying.
I'm proud of you, Johnny Jett.
Thank you.
I wish I could say I knew you when, but I didn't. So, and it's nice because you're going to get are you going to get a little time to R&R in Manhattan?
Yeah, actually, I was just about to go see my cousins in an off-Broadway play called The Last Match.
What
So
fun.
after this, it's called The Last Match. It's a tennis I think it's about the U.S. Open. I'm not even sure, but I was going to go down and support him. And then go check out Central Park, walk with my family through Central Park, and hopefully see the fall foliage.
Yes,
you like
will.
that pronunciation?
Very nicely said, yes.
I'm working on that one.
Very nicely said. It's turning, isn't it?
It is, and actually, my app is from one of your readers last week because we talked about a website, and they said, well, there's a good app out there. They either put it in the chat room or they tweeted me. I can't remember which one. But anyway, it's called Leaf Peeper.
Leaf Peeper.
Leafpeeper.
Well, that's what you call it, is leaf peeping, right?
Exactly. So this is actually by Yankee Magazine, which we mentioned last week, but their websites, their website's mostly about just New England. However, what I like about this this site or this app is that first of all, it's free on iOS and Android, and you can report the foliage wherever you are in the country. And you can, it's real simple to use. It has a little slider. I have it right here. I just drop my phone. And you put in, if it's green, turning, moderate, peak, if it's fading, or if it's
like
gone.
crowdsourced
exactly.
leaf peeping. And
you can even put a photo up you can take a photo and then describe it. So it's mostly crowdsourcing, but I like it because, they can't cover everything. And last week I was complaining how, I don't know what the forecast looks like in the Midwest and things like that. So you really have to do some searching around.
Yeah. Yeah. But you looked out the window and you're going to be peeping some leaves.
Well, I'm looking out the window right now and I have a building.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a building.
Dear.
I'm going to go to Central Park.
I was going to actually ask you for a hotel recommendation in New York. We're going next month. But
there's plenty of it.
Plenty of hotels.
It all depends on your price point, but
that's
the Dream
problem.
Hotel, I think you might like the Dream Hotel. Depends who you're going with. If you're bringing a family or not.
I'm bringing my lovely wife.
You guys probably like the Dream Hotel downtown.
Dream Hotel. I like the name.
Actually, it's right across from Google. And last time I stayed there, which was a while ago, they even had a sign, check in for Google, because that's where all their employees who were coming to visit them stay.
Wow. Pinch myself. I'm dreaming. I got a job at Google. So so there's your app.
So and actually I have another app.
Another one.
I have another app.
Bonus app.
This is a bonus app. This is called Trip Whistle.
I like the name.
So it's for emergency numbers all over the world because 911 is not universal.
Uh-huh.
And so there's actually 70 different emergency numbers around the world.
Wow.
So this one will show you which ones are the right number to call, help you find the emergency, police, fire, ambulance, anywhere in the world with just a single touch. And they use the GPS coordinates. I don't know if you can hear Jack screaming in the bathroom.
Jack.
Can you hear him in the back?
I can. That's okay. We love Jack. Okay.
He's in the bathroom and there's a thick door. I was
no, it's pretty good.
Okay.
Is his mom in there with him, or he's not alone in there, is he?
Of course. No, his mama's in there. Jack doesn't want to bath by himself.
No. Tweep, what?
No,
Twip whistle. Twip whistle.
It's actually only on iOS.
Twip whistle.
Trip whistle. But the most important thing about this is that 911 is not universal. So if you are traveling somewhere to a foreign country, make sure in advance you look it up. You don't need to use this app per se, but just at least Google it and find out what the number is and keep it handy in your phone. That way, if anything does go down, you don't have to scramble and try and find it then.
Yeah, because there are all sorts of strange numbers.
For sure. I mean, I think Australia's one of them is 000. I might be Australia.
Yeah.
So anyway, and I got a tip for you if you got another tip. If we have time.
I'd love a tip. Yes.
So sometimes I fly in these old planes and they do not have any power ports.
Yes.
And if you're like me, and the way I pass time on planes is working on my laptop almost the whole time.
I use my iPad and watch movies, play games. Perfect.
Yeah, but if you forget to charge it, and my laptop,
that's
I have an older laptop, and the power just within an hour it's dead. So I have to I bring an external charger. So that's my my tip. Find out what aircraft you're on in advance, and there's a couple of websites you can do that. Seat Guru does a good job, and you can see exactly if they have power ports or not. And a lot of them in coach do not have them. Usually in business they do, but if you're in coach, and I flew a couple weeks ago on an old American plane. I think it was from Charlotte to L.A., and luckily I had my external hard drive.
Yeah. I always carry a little battery. Charger. I always carry a little battery with me all the time. And did you have
which one do you use, by the way?
I like them from Anker, Anker. That's my favorite external battery.
And how much does that cost?
Well, they vary, but I'm always looking for one with more than 10,000 or at least 10,000 milliamp hours, because a typical phone charges 2,000 or 3,000. So that means, or the iPad maybe 4,000. So that means you could charge up a device a couple of times. Very handy to have that.
Yeah, I wish. I made friends with my seatmate.
Made friends with your seatmate.
I can't even remember what mine is. I have
most of the time. I don't think it matters that much. Most of the time, they're all it's a commodity.
But the seatmate's like, "Can I borrow some of that?" I go, "Sure." It's going to cost you though.
Buy some power. Hey, Johnny's got a great article. Oh, he's always got great articles. There's one on the most comfortable shoes for travel, which I love. That's a good topic. And I just followed all 17 of your 17 travel Instagram accounts to follow in 2017. I like it.
Good.
Including
good.
the TSA. I didn't know they had an Instagram account.
TSA actually does a great job with their Instagram. So you should definitely follow them. Surprisingly, they talk about how many guns they find each week.
Look at some of the stuff they find in your luggage.
I think last week alone, they found like 169 guns at the checkpoint. Loaded.
This is crazy. Crazy, the stuff that... here's a butcher cleaver. Do not bring a butcher cleaver on a plane.
Yeah. And actually, the big travel news this week is now that the government is now trying to tell people not to put any laptops in your checked bag, which is no brainer.
That's
obviously.
the opposite of what they were going to do. I'm so confused at this point. They never did ban them in the cabin. Now they're not banning them. They're just recommending, or are they banning them in checked luggage?
6 months ago or whatever it was, they were trying to ban them in the cabin, and everyone's like, if you put them in the cargo hold,
that's even worse.
It's a fire hazard.
Yeah.
And so now they've actually come to realize that it is a fire hazard. So now they're encouraging the worldwide airline community not to allow anyone to take a laptop.
They were trained professionals. Johnny Jett, at Johnny Jett on the Twitter, but don't forget his website, johnnyjett.com. Have safe travels. Good luck Tuesday at Carnegie Hall. He's making his debut at Carnegie Hall. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Your call's coming up. We're going to stay at the W. Is that an okay? That's nice.
Yeah, well, there's 3 different W's in the hotel.
Times Square, because we want to be near Broadway, so we don't have to.
I'm not a fan of Times Square.
Well, I know. It's a terrible area to stay.
That's my least favorite part of New York City.
Yeah.
It's just so touristy.
But the W's across the street from the Sheraton. It's a couple of blocks from the Times Square.
Yeah. Oh, they did a great job cleaning up Times Square. I remember growing up.
Oh, man.
I grew up 40 miles away from here.
You got to watch The Deuce, which is the new show on HBO that's about Times Square in 1971 and 72.
You wouldn't walk down Times Square in broad daylight.
Yeah.
Now you can walk around midnight, no problem.
I know. It's almost Disneyland now. Yeah. It is the Disneyfication of Times Square. Yeah.
But tourists love it. I mean, I try to avoid it, but
I think I prepaid my hotel. Otherwise, I would rebook it.
But W's are fine hotels.
I've always liked W's. I like the heavenly bed.
They do. They're the first ones that come up with that concept.
And I know where that W is, and I'm comfortable with the location. Actually, I've stayed across the street at the Sheraton. I like that.
I've stayed at the Sheraton before too.
Yeah, it's not like on Times Square.
And which play are you going to see, by the way?
We're seeing 2 plays. We're going to see opening night. I got invited to opening night at Steve Martin's new play, Meteor Shower, which we saw in San Diego.
That's awesome.
Amy Schumer, Key of Key and Peele, Laura Benanti, who I love. So that cast is great. I'm hoping, I'm crossing my fingers I'll get a backstage. I know the guy who wrote it, so I might get a backstage invite.
You know Steve Martin, don't you?
Yeah. He's the one who's getting us in. It really sold fast. They sold $1 million worth of tickets in the first couple of days, so it's already a hit. Because it's Amy Schumer's Broadway debut.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool. And Key's Broadway debut. And then the next night, I thought, we got 2 nights in New York. I got to go see another show. Yep. And we're going to go see Bette Midler and Hello, Dolly. Because Bette Midler.
You're living it up, man.
Living it large. I should go see your buddies play.
Yeah, my cousin. Actually, the last match. But when we stayed at the Sheraton in Times Square, we went and saw Aladdin, which is pretty much across the street. I don't know if it's still there at that theater. But we're
going to see. That's coming to San Francisco. I have tickets to see that because I know Michael will enjoy it. He likes plays where he knows. He loved The Lion King because he saw the movie, so he knows the story. Makes it easy for him to follow.
Gotcha. Well, I hope you have a great trip. And
I hope you have I am so impressed that you're doing Carnegie Hall. I'm blown away.
We'll talk next week, see how it goes.
Superstar. Superstar. That is fantastic. You're up there with see, I follow Zach Honig on Instagram. He's always getting on the new planes, the new flights.
Yes. Zach's a good guy. I'm going to be on that last United flight with him.
Are you?
Yep.
The last 747?
Yep. Next month.
Oh, so jealous. You have made a great career for yourself. I am so happy for you.
Thank you. Wonderful. I appreciate it. You've been a big part of it.
No, but I'm glad I could ride this coattail.
You're the man.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And
Thank you.
congratulations. That's amazing. All right.
All right. Well,
see you, John.
you take care of yourself.
Yep. Take care of Natalie
Bye-bye.
and Jack. I know you will.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, get out of the bathtub. Hey, I'm busy. I'm working. Four Seasons. I like the Four Seasons, but that's probably really expensive. New York hotels are so expensive. I should stay at the Yale Club because I'm still a member, but I can't. They have scratchy comforters. Dream Hotels, huh? This looks like a Vegas hotel in New York. And it's too hip for me. I don't like those hip hotels. I don't like them. Oh, Manhattan hotel rooms are very expensive, except like in January and February, they're cheap because nobody wants to go. Yeah, I'd like to stay on the High Line. Yeah. I have to apologize to Kim Shaffer because normally Kim would have that first slot right there. I'd say hello to her right at the beginning of the show, but Johnny had to get on now.
I'm all mixed up. What day is it?
I don't know what. Yeah, I know. Normally Johnny's on Saturdays, but no, it was nice to have him on here. So it's nice to have you. Thank you for calling. I mean, answering those phones. You don't call people, right? They call you.
On occasion, I have called people.
Like call them back.
Yeah,
that's nice.
When they've been on the phone for a really long time, and then the show ends.
You're so kind. What a kind person.
You're not supposed to have that kind of.
You're not to do your job.
In radio, but I
supposed to have a heart of stone.
Yeah, I just feel awful.
No, Leo's not going to talk to you.
No,
goodbye. Leo's done with you. Yeah. No, I appreciate that. I like it that you're gentle to our listeners.
I try.
They're nice people. They deserve it.
Yes.
So who should I start with here?
Brad in San Clemente wants to know if his cable company's ripping him off.
Of course they are. Next question.
We know that already, right? Don't even need to talk to him.
Thank you, Kim. Hi, Brad. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Great.
Hey, the internet connection, like she just described exactly. I have Cox, or the only internet company here other than AT&T. I guess has a DSL available, and I've had the same Cox for probably over 12, 15 years or whatever it is that's been here, and I've had the same modem all these years. Never a problem.
Oh gosh, you probably need a new one.
Well, that's what they said. They called me on the phone and said they need to change my modem.
Because the modem protocols have changed vastly.
Okay, so they're not lying to me there.
No, but here's one way you could save money. Cable company will rent you a modem. What are they saying, $7 a month?
No, they give it to me for free.
No, they charge you, believe me. Look on your bill. They don't rent you the modem?
No, I'm grandfathered in whatever plan I had originally.
Okay, so here's a big question then to ask them. When you send me this new modem, are you going to start charging me rent?
They said no.
Wow, that's great. So that's unusual. Usually cable companies charge $5 to $7 a month rent. You can buy a modem. If you go to Cox's website, they have a list of modems approved. Here's what's happened. The speed of the cable has increased incredibly, but in order to take advantage of it, you need to use something called a DOCSIS, D-O-C-S-I-S 3 modem. Actually, the new DOCSIS 3.1 standard is now coming down the pipe. So you might look for a DOCSIS 3.1 capable modem. That has set you up for a few more years. Having that capability will probably improve your bandwidth. Did they say anything about that?
Well, yeah. My problem was kind of opposite of everything you're saying. They came out, changed my modem for free.
Okay, they already did it. Okay.
And then after they did it, my internet is half the speed.
Oh.
Or seems it's slow. And then I call them and complained about it, and they said, "Oh, you need to bump up your service to whatever it was."
Oh.
And I said, well, and it was a sales pitch, and I said, "Well, first off, if I'm not getting the speed of 50, how can I ever get the speed of 100 if I can't even get?"
You need to talk to somebody technical, because what happened is you're not on a DOCSIS 3 switch. Because you've had that same cable modem for so long, they left you on the same old switch, which was probably DOCSIS 1.0, really old and not capable of more speed. Putting a new modem on that won't fix it entirely. You need to also, they need to put you on a DOCSIS 3 switch.
Okay, so I call it DOCSIS 3 switch.
Yeah, say, hey, guys, I don't think I'm getting DOCSIS 3 service. Am I still on the old DOCSIS 1? I just got the new modem. If you see, this is often the case with talking to a cable company. There's a technical person somewhere in there, but what you're talking to, as you pointed out, is a salesperson, and they don't know. They're just trying to. They get a commission. They're just trying to upsell you.
That makes a lot of sense. So they're coming out tomorrow. A tech is coming tomorrow. So
just say I need. He can do it. You say I need to be provisioned. You put a DOCSIS 3 modem in. I don't think I'm provisioned is the word. I don't think I'm provisioned for the DOCSIS 3 modem. And he can call, and it's a great. It's all I was listening on these calls. He go, hey Mabel, can you check for me something for me, Mabel? Is Brad on? Which switch is Brad on? He's on U349. Oh no, can you put him on U348? That's crazy talk. And then that should fix it. And since you're getting it for free, that's fine. The reason I tell people to buy their own modems, A, is because you get paid.
Okay, well, if I buy a modem, what modem are you recommending?
Well, again, go to Cox and see. They probably support the mainstream Eris modems, but I don't know. I'd have to look. But since you're not being charged for it, I presume they gave you a nice new one. The only thing that worries me with cable, was it wrapped up? Was it like it? Was it shrink wrapped like you were the first person to use it?
Well, they actually, they're a long story, but they did two of them until they got one that worked the way they wanted.
Because what they'll do is they'll reuse them, and that's not what you want. You don't want somebody's old modem. You'd like a brand new one. And
okay.
Yeah. So if you have a choice. My favorite modem is an ARRIS cable modem. But there are other good ones, certainly plenty of them, and probably anything they recommend is fine. I'm wondering what they put in there. If it's new and you're not paying for it, keep it.
Yeah. Well, they took out my Eris. That is what I had. But it was old, like I said. And it worked, but it worked 10 times better than this one. But you might be right.
I think it's because I think you're on the old switch.
So I will do that tomorrow. I'll talk to them with that. But then I don't mind buying a modem. Because this is my work.
A cable modem is under $100, and so usually if you're paying $5 to $7 a month rent, it works out over a year or two to be even. Since you're not paying anything, and you may be getting the state-of-the-art modem you would buy, then maybe
Okay.
Ask the cable guy. Bake him some cookies. These guys often don't work for Cox. They're contractors. They're usually the most knowledgeable people there. And you say, "Is this a good modem?" And if you kind of bond with him, he'll tell you, "Yeah, I'm more of a fan of the SB 1361s myself," or something like that. They're pretty knowledgeable. They'd have to do this all day, day in, day out. They usually know, and they know who to call to make sure you're properly provisioned. That's the most important thing.
Okay, I will do that tomorrow. I really, really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
I had another question, if you don't mind, really quick.
Sure, Brad.
I'm not sure how you update if you can even update a cell phone, but I have a Kyocera phone.
Kyocera, yeah.
And it's 6820, best phone I've ever had in my life.
I'm glad you like it.
Only phone I've never broke 4 times a year, at least. So, it's indestructible if you're a manufacturer like I am, So my question is, when I go to text someone, it takes 20 seconds. When I push on their name, I generally have to wait like 10 to 20 seconds before the screen comes up so I can text them. Is there an upgrade or something I should do, or who do I call for that?
Well, you're running it's not there's not a super fast state-of-the-art flagship phone. It's a couple of years old. It was an inexpensive phone when it came out, but it shouldn't take 20 seconds to launch a text. The easiest, first of all, check updates. You go into your system settings, and at the bottom, About Phone, and you update it from there. Okay. And make sure you are updated, because Android needs to be updated on a regular basis. That came with Android 6. We're up to 8 now. It probably won't go to 8, but at least you'll get the security patches. If that doesn't help, though, the best thing to do is to kind of reinstall the operating system, just like a Windows machine, And you can do that. You'll lose everything. So, you know, back it up. Use Google and back up all your contacts and everything on the Google servers. And then go into the device reset, factory reset. That might help too. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Our show today brought to you by Rocket Mortgage. I should mention our fine sponsor. If you are in the market for a new home and you're going to get a home loan, or maybe you have a home and you're going to refi, I would invite you to consider Quicken Loans, the best lender in the country. I mean, really, state-of-the-art, user-focused. They really care about their customers. In fact, you can tell with all those J.D. Power Customer Satisfaction Awards, #1, you know, like 7 years running in mortgage approval and mortgage servicing. I mean, they're just great. They created something called Rocket Mortgage that really takes this to the 21st century. Instead of going to a bank, hat in hand, saying, please, can I have a loan? And the guy, the last time we got a loan, I swear to God, he pulls out a special HP amortization calculator and says, well, if you're borrowing this much, and he does it by hand. I was like, and then we had to ferry back and forth documents. At one point, we were faxing documents from vacation because they needed more and more information. No. Forget that. Rocket Mortgage from Quicken Loans. You can do it on your phone. You go to rocketmortgage.com/techguy. You give them the basic information. Because they have trusted partnerships with all the financial institutions, they'll say, okay, is this you? Yeah. You give us permission? Yeah. Okay. Good. We got all we need. They're going to crunch those numbers. No financial calculator here. They're going to crunch those numbers with an actual computer, and that means it happens in seconds. And based on your income, your assets, and your credit, they're going to give you the offers. They're going to say, look, I can get you a loan this much down. This is the rate. This is the term. Or you can give this much down with this rate, this term. You pick the loan that's right for you, and you're approved. It's done in minutes. In the amount of time it would take to drive to the bank, it's done. So why would you drive to the bank? Use Rocket Mortgage from Quicken Loans. Go to rocketmortgage.com/techguy. And by the way, equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLS, consumeraccess.org, number 3030. That's the legalese. Here's the Leoese. Do it. rocketmortgage.com/techguy. We thank him so much for making the Tech Guy podcast a reality. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. 8888. Ask Leo. Paul in San Diego, California. Hi, Paul.
Hi, Leo.
Welcome to the show. What can I do for you today?
I have two questions. The first one is podcasting.
Oh, I know a little bit about podcasting. I can help you there.
You know, video podcasting. I saw your thing yesterday about Mic Me.
Oh, yeah. That's cool.
That was cool. It's expensive.
Yeah.
And I need a mic that would... a solution with a mic that would be on me, and when I talk, I don't get the external noise from the street outside.
This is all very difficult. All right, what are you going to... So the Mic Me, M-I-K-M-E, is just coming out now. And it's an interesting device designed by a former AKG engineer. It's a Bluetooth wireless microphone for your iPhone. And you have to use their particular video recording program. You can record audio as well. Because Bluetooth audio is not great, has dropouts and stuff, it does a weird thing. It records it locally and then sends it in chunks to the phone. So that, and the phone, if it misses part of it, says, send that again. And so that way it assembles a perfect recording. It's a really good mic, $500. And it's really of limited... What you want to make a video podcast?
Yes, using the iPhone.
Okay.
And so the goal is the iPhone is on me and I'm moving around.
Yep.
And
well, you're going to hold the iPhone, or you're going to put the iPhone on sticks on a tripod and walk around
on a tripod.
Got it.
On it.
Yeah.
On a tripod.
Yeah, I was thinking of doing this with the Mic Me too. That's what it's designed to do, but it is awfully expensive.
And it's very large too.
Yeah, that's another thing. It looks kind of, I mean, it's an interesting design, but it's a square, it's like you're holding a square box.
Right. And I contacted them to see if there's a external input with a lapel mic, and there wasn't.
No, because the whole thing about the Mic Me is it is the mic, and that's the key to that. You can buy lapel mics with wireless lapel mics. They're more expensive than the Mic Me. Good microphones are expensive. Now, there is, and I haven't tried it, but it has good reviews on Amazon. So I'm kind of intrigued by it, but I can't really recommend it because I don't know. The reason I know about it is because my son wants to do the same thing. He was looking for a microphone for his camera, and he found something called the Movo, M-O-V-O, for only $180. Now, this is not, I have to tell you, this is not a big name in microphones, so I don't know anything about them, but having read the Amazon reviews, it's very well reviewed. That is the lowest price I've ever seen for a wireless microphone system, and it is what you're looking for, which is a lavalier mic, a lapel mic.
Exactly.
And it does have a wind cover, although the problem with lavalier mics is they do pick up a lot of room noise. They tend to pick up a lot of room noise, but the mic I'm using, for instance, and most radio people use, is close to my mouth. It's big. On TV, it wouldn't be real desirable because it's just this big thing in front of me. Although we're getting used to it now. If you watch ESPN, the guys who do the sports talk show there, they have a big mic in front of them. We're kind of getting used to that, at least as a radio thing on TV. But most of the time when you watch TV presenters are wearing lapel mics. And because it's TV, you don't really listen to the audio very closely. But if you just listen to the audio, you'd say, hey, it does sound a little roomy and kind of echoey. It's not as good as a big, directly addressable mic like this mic I'm using, the Heil PR40 or the Mic Me. But
how about an earphone mounted thing? One of the wires go in front.
Yeah, those would be better. But again, wireless is the trick. Wireless is a little hard to do because it's easy to get interference, and if you're not, if it's not a good Rode, R-O-D-E, which is a well-known podcast microphone maker, also makes a wireless mic, but theirs is $400. And then the ones that we use are very expensive. Those are Sennheisers, and they're more like $600-700. Because remember, for a wireless mic, you have to have a base station, the receiver, a transmitter that's on your belt. The microphone itself, it's kind of challenging. Now there are kind of interesting mics that are iPhone specific. In fact, Rode makes one called the Smart Lav that plugs in. It's not wireless. That plugs into the iPhone, but it's not going to work on a new iPhone because it's not a lightning jack. So it's a headphone jack. But Anthony Tortoriello in our chat room says he uses this one, but that's wired. Wired will be cheaper and easier. It doesn't have to have transmitter and receiver and all that.
Yeah, unfortunately, I move around.
Yeah, if you really need wireless, you're going to be spending. Well, look at that Movo. I haven't tried it. I think my son's probably going to get it. I can get his review for you.
Good.
But we've tried less expensive wireless mics because I didn't want to spend. I can't remember what the Sennheisers cost, $700 or $800. I didn't want to spend that much per mic. Remember we got multiple hosts. It really adds up. But that we found is the best. We get the best results. So, but the Movo at $180, that's the least expensive I've ever seen, and again, it has excellent reviews.
Completely different question. The second one was that I had purchased a Lenovo Yoga Tablet 2 Pro.
Yeah,
and I always had problems with it. It flashes, the screen flashes, and Lenovo kept on telling me that's because I was using the wrong operating system. It doesn't support Windows 10. Now that it does, but I still get flashes. What's my recourse? Any idea how to get their attention?
You bring it to where you bought it. You say, this thing's broken, and it has been. How long has it been?
It's been going on for 2 years.
Oh, see, you're out of warranty
Continually.
now. Yeah, no, that's wrong. It's broken. It's not good, and they should have fixed it.
Yeah, I bought it online from Lenovo.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's wrong. And all you can do is just be the squeaky wheel. But after 2 years, it's going to be hard to get it fixed now because it's out of warranty. You need to get that
They
fixed.
even gave me an extra year warranty, which is just expiring. But the big question is, how do I get to them? Who do I speak to?
I don't know. That's a great question. Right to the problem is it's a Chinese company, right?
Yep.
So I buy Lenovo laptops, but I buy the ThinkPads, not any of their consumer stuff. And I feel like the support for those is very good. I buy, same-day business turnaround. It's not cheap, but it's not super pricey. But that's not right. It should not be flickering. It has nothing to do with the operating system. That has to do with them and their hardware. And all you can do is scream at it. Scream and scream and just say, no, no, no. I'm going to go on. Tell them I'm going to call that national radio show, the tech guy show, and I'm going to tell everybody the Lenovo Yoga pad stinks.
Well, I'll even tell them I called them, and I'm telling them it stinks and their service stinks, but I'll be happy to retract it if they fix it.
There you go. And I'll make sure you call in and retract it if you get it fixed.
Okay, thank you so much.
I'm sorry that happened to you. Yeah, that's not right. And it's one of those things where you kind of put up with it. But those screens should not blink or flash. They should be rock solid. Rock solid. A lot of people like the Rode mics. I've used the Rode video mic for years, and those are very good. Those go on the hot shoe of your camera, and then they have a just for a holder, and then they have a mini jack. So they work with the Canon cameras. A lot of cameras have mini jack audio out. But really, honestly, a wireless lapel mic, while it's the holy grail, it's what everybody wants. You know, he described the perfect microphone. It's wireless. The sound is excellent. You don't hear a lot of noise or wind. I can walk around. $800, please. 8888 ask Leo. Yeah, somebody's pointing out, and this is true. Robert Bigelow in the chat room says, since you did connect with them, Paul, before about this, it's an ongoing tech issue. So the warranty expiring should not be an issue, although since you're not getting any satisfaction, what it should or shouldn't be doesn't have much to do with anything. Taking a break for the news, but we'll be back with more of your calls. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
ElectroSonic is our brand.
Oh, we use ElectroSonic. I apologize. I thought these are even more expensive than Sennheiser's.
You know?
But this is what we use at Tech TV too. These are the good guys. So this is the receiver. That's so you get both an earpiece and a microphone. I've never seen this one before.
Oh, because we have them in leather.
Oh, you put them in a case.
Yeah, one of the leather put one of the metal cases on.
That's nice. And then this is the kit. But how much per? You got to get the base station. Oh, and they also do. That's a Heil.
No, the capsule is a Heil.
Ah.
A lot of the stick part is ElectroSonic.
Oh, I didn't know Heil made capsules for wireless. That's cool. So when we use a Heil wireless, we're not really using Heil's wireless. We're using this is just the Heil part right there. Yeah. And this is ElectroSonic as well. But you can't just say, well, what would one base station and one lav cost? We don't know because we don't buy it that way.
So the transmitters
yeah.
are about $800.
$800 just for the transmitter. Does that include a mic?
No.
No. This is $800. $1,000 for the base station.
$1,000 for the transmitter, $800 for the receiver.
$1,000 for that, $800 for the base station. But that base station can.
$500 each.
Do you have one base station per receiver per transmitter?
Yes.
Wow. So it's $1,800, and then you have to buy a mic.
Right, and those are $200.
And those are $200. So we're talking $2,000. And Birthday Boy Burke says
the transmitters, they keep track of all of them geographically where you are, so you don't step on each other's frequencies.
Isn't that nice? They're automatic, yeah.
They recommended which frequency bands
nice.
to use here.
Nice.
Based on who else was using
Based on what's going on in Petaluma, here's the frequencies you should use so you don't conflict with.
They also do really cool stuff where they'll automatically scan.
Wow.
And then tell you whether it's a good frequency.
I had no idea. So these are really good, huh?
Yeah. So I mean, all the radio corner stuff is done with those.
I glad that I am so generous. I'm glad I have the deep pockets. People wonder, why does it cost so much to do Twit? Now you know.
Receiver goes on a camera, so this is for the field.
Got it. That's a field mic, yeah. And now you know why a $500 mic me seems cheap. It seems cheap. It's pretty good. I mean, it's not. It's probably not radio quality, but we can use it. It would be mostly for, I think, somebody who, like a vlogger. Less for professional production. It has to be recording on an iPhone for it to work. Yeah, so the way it works is somebody's shooting with an iPhone, but you have to use their software, and then you hold the mic. It's wireless, but it's weird looking. It's like a little box. It's awesome if you want. In fact, they probably have on their page. They have some demos. It's awesome if what you're doing is shooting video with an iPhone, and you want to be able to, move around. This is on Vimeo. It's on the new screensavers. They played this video on the show. So all the audio on this is unprocessed from the Mic Me.
1, 2.
They're out in a mountaintop. So what's cool about it is this band is just 3 people standing around a Mic Me. And they're outside. They're on this, up on this mountain. So the quality's excellent. You don't mind what it looks like. So that's a video on Vimeo you should check out. I mean, I think the audio quality is excellent. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers and the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches, microphones, Bluetooth, anything with a chip in it. 8888 Ask Leo. I like to talk tech, and I hope you'll talk it with me. 888-827-5536. Brett is next in Temecula, California. Hi, Brett.
Hi, Leo. Thanks for taking my call.
My pleasure. Thank you for calling.
You perform a great service. I look forward to listening to you every week on KFI, and when I miss it on KFI, your podcasts are excellent.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
So I went out recently, a few days ago, and bought myself a Surface Pro, the latest model, without a number.
Yeah, nice.
And I bought the high-end one with the 16 gigabytes of RAM and 1 terabyte of SSD hard drive. And was really looking forward to using it and replacing my laptop and my tablet with it.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to do a good job of replacing my laptop. I have to have Windows because of my work. I sell large format printers and have to give a little bit of tech support to my customers that are inevitably on Windows machines.
Yeah, right.
So a Mac is not a great option for me.
Right.
So I was good with the laptop aspect of the Surface Pro, but when I switched gears and I started trying to use it like I would my iPad typically, I learned that there aren't many apps for that, for a Windows application.
Well, whoa, wait a minute. You're looking at the Windows Store, but you can get apps from anywhere, and there are more apps for Windows probably than any other operating system. I mean, there are apps. What do you want to do? What are you looking to do?
Yeah, well, let me explain the 2 that I ran into. Maybe they're exceptions, or maybe I just don't know all the avenues to get them. But one of the games I play, and it's a stupid game, it's not very important to me, but I play Scramble. Yeah. I don't know if you know Scramble with words, with friends, I mean.
Yeah.
And when I went to download that, I couldn't see anything except an iOS and an Android app.
Yeah, they probably don't make a Windows Store app. So that's an interesting point. So Windows 10, Microsoft's interesting because, and I understand your confusion because on the one hand it's a tablet, on the other hand the keyboard's a laptop. It's Windows 10, which is a desktop operating system, but it has a tablet mode in it. And just like Apple's App Store for iOS, there's an App Store for Windows, but you don't have to buy all the software at the App Store. You're right. If what you're looking for is a Scrabble, Words with Friends is dominant in Android and iOS. There's no Words with Friends on Mac, though, is there?
I think that there probably is. I'm not even sure. But I
think that's the thing. It's a desktop. It's really a mobile game, and so you're going to see a dearth of mobile-style apps for a desktop computer, I guess is what I'm saying.
Okay, so what I stumbled upon when I went on the internet was something that claimed that it could run all of the Android apps on the Windows platform.
Not BlueStacks.
And I tried BlueStacks originally, and I realized quite quickly that was pretty clunky and didn't really get the job done.
No. The BlueStacks idea is it's Android apps you can run on Windows or Mac. Yeah. Okay.
So then I did a little more research, and I stumbled across one called Duos, and that was a little bit more disastrous for me because after I downloaded everything you needed to make that work, all of a sudden I no longer could see my desktop on the Surface Pro.
Great. These are all hacks.
Okay.
And you're experiencing the side effect of hacks, which is they kind of don't work great. They're not the standard you're used to. And sounds like you're used to an iPad, which of course works smoothly and well. And Apple is very careful about what gets into the App Store. And so generally speaking, when you get an app on iOS, it's going to work and do what it says and so forth, so on. Windows is a little bit more open, a little more Wild West. And what I would do is look not in the Windows Store, but just Google in general Windows 10 Scrabble and see if anybody's making it. It may not be Words with Friends. There's so much money right now in mobile apps that a lot of these companies don't even bother with a desktop app.
I understand.
Yeah. I mean, Hasbro, which owns the right to Scrabble, may well make like a real Scrabble for Windows 10.
Okay, well, let me tell you about another app that I went for, which is actually more important to me. My wife and I are heading over to Italy in a couple of weeks, and I had always heard people rave about how good the Bose noise-canceling headsets are on an airplane. So I went into the Bose store, and I asked them, I said, can you hook up 2 of these Bluetooth headphones to a single device? Because I didn't think you could. And they assured me that you could, that you couldn't just do it normally. You had to download their app, the Bose Connect app, and then you could do that easily.
That's clever. So they're working around that limit, because you're right, that's a limitation of Bluetooth.
All right, so I plunked down the cash for 2 of those headphones, got home, went to download that app, and figured in Dallas it's iOS or Android only.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering and I Googled that to try to see if they made anything Windows related and whatnot. And so that was my real question for you. I could still return this device, and I was looking forward to not bringing a computer and a laptop to Europe, to having a single device. But because I can return it, if I'm not going to replace both devices, maybe I want to take this $3,000 device back and buy something different and a new iPad and keep 2 devices. So do you think I'm going to get to where I want to be, where I can run some kind of apps and maybe have both headphones hooked up, or should I be returning the product and going down another road?
Well, so getting 2 Bluetooth devices on to work with a phone is a hack also. It's not how Bluetooth is supposed to work. And somehow Bose has managed to make that work by putting an app on their phone. However, it's if they don't offer it on Windows, then you're out of luck. And I don't think that they are on Windows. So you're kind of a canary in a coal mine. I don't mean that as an insult, Brett, in any way, but this is where the world's headed, toward these mobile devices, and more people are using their phones as a computer than their computer anymore. And I think you're experiencing this kind of transition. Windows, so part of the problem is that you're thinking of a Surface Pro as a tablet. That's Microsoft's fault. It is a tablet, but it's not an iPad-like tablet. It's really a desktop operating system with a touch interface. And I just, you can run, like Facebook has Scrabble games. There's Pogo.com. This goes back to the earlier era before we had iPads. It's really not a mobile operating system. You need it because you're working with people who want a desktop, you're selling a desktop product. So it might be that what you should do is save some money. There's lots of very good, that's called a convertible, by the way, a tablet that has an attachable keyboard. There's also 2-in-1 is another kind where they're attached, but they fold over. Microsoft's convertibles are very expensive compared to, you can find lots of great, take a look at Acer, has some great 2-in-1s and convertibles. I use a Lenovo Yoga X1 that is a 2-in-1. It's as expensive, but it's a beautiful Windows 10 machine. And then maybe get a cheap iPad to do the iPad chores. I guess that's how I do it. Don't you have a smartphone?
I do.
Because that's the other way to do it, is play the music from the smartphone with the Bose app, and you and your wife can listen to your Quiet Comfort headphones on the phone.
I was hoping to download movies, though, and if I'm about your age and watching a movie on a smartphone,
no, I know.
It's cracked up to be.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm with you. You can get a mechanical head. I would just get a headphone splitter. Those quiet. Don't use Bluetooth headphones. Just, in fact, I don't even know if can you use a Bluetooth headphone as you're flying. Isn't that a wireless connection? Don't you have to turn those off? Get a regular wired headphone and split it. That's what I do if we both want to watch movies, and that works fine. You can get a splitter. Dell has a good 2-in-1, which you fold over. For movies, it's great. You fold it over, tent mode they call it, and you can watch your Netflix movies on there. It looks great. And then just, plug in a headphone splitter, and you can both listen. 8888 Ask Leo. It's interesting. I mean, this really is an example of how it's not quite a tablet. It isn't. It really isn't. It's a desktop computer, even though it has the form factor of a tablet. More of your calls coming up. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Oh, can I show you my fractures? Oh, man, I love these. Wait, let me go get my fractures. This is the new come upstairs and see my etchings line, except that it's completely benign. Fracture is our sponsor, and they make an amazing product. They call themselves a photo decor company. But what they really do is they take your photos, your favorite photos, and they rescue them from obscurity. You have, I'm sure, photos that, memories you just don't ever want to forget, but they're on a hard drive somewhere, right? Or maybe they're in a photo book and you never see them. Lisa's taught me, because this was something she's always done, to print them and hang them. But now we found a way to print them and hang them that is fantastic. It's Fracture. They print them on glass. This is a picture I took at my son's high school graduation. That's my daughter and my son. And it's just one of my favorite pictures of them. It ships in this nice cardboard thing, which, by the way, comes with a hanging screw. They're ready to mount. They've got a cutout right there. And that's how it is. Well, I put a border on this. You don't have to have a border. You can have it go all the way to the edge. They have a photo editor that lets you make it black and white or color or change the borders or the border colors and all that stuff. And I just love these. This is a great way to take a picture, very affordable way, too, to take a picture and bring it to life. Fracture has a variety of sizes. I'll show you the smallest. This is 8th grade graduation for Michael. That is the, what is the smallest size? I have it written down here. It's like basically 4 by 6. Where did I put it? Here it is. It's 4.8 by 6.4 to be exact. Here, let me show you the close-up of this one, because it really is beautiful and so easy. One thing we do is we put we get a molding and put it in the wall at eye height, and we just lean these there, and it's great. But you can again, they all come ready to mount. Here's another one. This is also from high school graduation. They get big, though. If you want the biggest, 21.6 by 28.8. This is for the pictures you really love, or the landscapes, or the sunsets. This is something I took in the Galapagos Islands. I've shown you this before, but I'm very proud of it. And look how great it looks. The contrast pops. The colors are bright. Something about printing it on glass makes it so gorgeous. Bring a special memory to life. Great for gift giving. In fact, those pictures of my kids you saw, those are for Grandma. Shh, don't tell Grandma. Decorate your home with moments that tell your story. Don't let those pictures just waste away on a hard drive somewhere. Each Fracture comes with a 60-day happy disc guarantee, so you're sure to love your order. They're printed right here in the U.S. in Gainesville, Florida, from U.S. sourced materials in their carbon-neutral factory. You want to do it? Pick a couple of pictures you really like and go to fracture.me, and you can go through the process, upload the pictures, pick the frame how you want it, and then use the offer code TECH15 when you check out, and they'll knock 15% off right off the top, which is pretty nice. Fracture.me just makes these photos sing. Fracture.me. Don't forget the offer code TECH15. I love that. Fracture. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888. Ask Leo. Tom in New Hampshire. Tom, Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hey, Leo. This is Tom. How are you?
I'm great. How are you? Have the leaves turned up your way?
I can't tell. I'm blind, so it doesn't make a difference to me.
You couldn't care less. Well, does it smell like... Does it smell... This is the thing I always loved about fall in New England, the smell of wood smoke in the air.
Yeah, we get some of that around. Not too much. I'm in a city, so we don't get too much of that.
Yeah. Probably people don't do that anymore. They did when I was a kid. You'd rake up your leaves, then you burn them. I'm sure.
Yeah, I probably used to do that.
I think that's probably illegal now.
Yeah, I think it is.
As it should be. What can I do for you?
Well, I have my AirPods, and I love them. I've had them for a few months.
Yeah, I really like them, too. I was surprised. They not only look beautiful and they're well-designed, but they really work quite well.
Yeah. Well, I use them on my Apple TV all the time. But ever since I updated to tvOS 11,
oh no,
I've had no volume on
Oh man.
And I didn't know if there was like a new setting that I'm not seeing somewhere. Because until I updated that, it was perfect.
I don't know. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Apple.
And I called Apple, and they go, and the funny thing about Apple, I called them, and they said, oh, well, with tvOS 10, you're not supposed to be able to use them. I'm like, I've been using them for months.
They say their solution to this is, well, you weren't supposed to be able to do it anyway.
Right. On iOS 10, I'm like, I was, and then when they updated to 11,
they broke it.
I can't. Yeah.
So I wonder if you have to
no problem.
You might have to repair them.
I did that.
You did that.
Yeah, and I can use it on my iPhone. I'm talking to them on my phone
Don't
right
they
now.
sound, see, by the way, don't they sound good? The microphone's way up by his ear, but I think the sound quality is excellent on these.
Yeah, I like them very much.
I use them all the time for phone calls. It's a very comfortable way to make phone calls.
I prefer it. I go to work and I'm making phone calls. They're like, "Are you talking to me?" No, I'm on the phone.
That's the only. Okay, so there's two problems. One is that people can't tell you're on the phone. The other is I'm so mobile. Sometimes I'll walk so far away that I lose the call because the phone's in the other room. I have to remember. Oh no, I'm on a phone call. I'm not just talking.
Yeah.
Wow. So they're paired. You get do the headphones do that little bloop thing when they?
They do. They do.
But you don't hear any audio.
Oh, it's very, very low. It's like.
Oh, you do hear it, but it's low.
You hear, but there's no volume.
And
obviously, the volume is all the way down like number 1 or 2.
And turning it up doesn't help.
It doesn't do a thing. My mother looked at it, and we hit the volume button on the the Apple TV remote on the 4K there, and the volume bars didn't even move on the on the audio setting.
So Apple's answer was that you shouldn't have been able to do it on iOS 10, and the heck with you?
No, they said, "Oh, we fixed that because you should have done it on tvOS 11." I said, "Well, no, actually, just reverse. I can do it on 10, but I can't do it on 11." They go,
yeah, you could. So on 10, the difference. You talk to a nitwit. I'd call back. The difference is that it worked on 10. Oh, it worked on 10, but they didn't pair automatically. The new thing.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah, they weren't. You had to pair them. You had to press the button in the back and all that.
Yeah.
Now you don't have to do that. They just like the iPhone does. They recognize that.
Well, I don't know. I've had it paired for so long. I had the 4 TV. And
you forgot that you had to press the button on the back and
I did.
Yeah. But you don't have to do that anymore.
Maybe.
So it always worked.
It always worked.
I don't see anything about. I'm looking on the forums and stuff. I don't see anything about volume issues.
Yeah.
So, they just hung up on you? They said, okay,
no, They said, well, we're going to consult, the senior person, and we'll get back to you.
And they never did.
And it was late at night. It was like 8, 9 o'clock at night, my time, New Hampshire time, and finally hung up on them because my AirPods were dying.
So one thing I would try is if you had another Bluetooth headphone.
I've done that. My Jam Box works no problem.
And it works.
Yeah, that's the first thing they asked me. I said, the Jam Box works no problem. The TV speaker, the default TV speaker works no problem. It's just the AirPods don't work, volume-wise. And I didn't know, and I looked at the AirPod settings, and there's nothing for volume that I can see in AirPod settings anywhere.
No, the volume's controlled by the device, by the Apple TV. I think you have to keep calling Apple until because you know what the best thing to do. I don't know if there's an Apple store anywhere near you.
No, but about an hour away.
Yeah, that is always the best solution. While I think Apple's phone support is very good, if it's something like this, if you bring it in and say, "Well, you try it."
Right. Yeah, I thought about it. But then I had to disconnect it, and it's a pain. All these cables everywhere.
Are you using the Apple TV remote to raise the volume?
Yes.
And it doesn't work.
It worked before, yeah.
And it works with speakers. It doesn't work with the AirPods. Well, I don't know.
Yes. It's an Apple device. You would think it would be.
You would think. One would think. One would think Apple would help you. One would think.
I think so. Yeah. Well, I'm on vacation this week. I'm going to give them another call this week.
I think they're the only ones that can fix this. And it'd be my guess that there's something wrong with your AirPods.
Well, I thought that too, but it works on the phone.
Yeah.
It works on.
Yeah, but that's
the thing that's wrong
particular to the Apple TV, obviously.
Yeah.
And
Apple TV.
It may. I wonder. Have there been? There have been, I think, firmware updates to the AirPods. Maybe make sure that your AirPods are up to date.
Ooh.
Is this the new 4K Apple TV or an older Apple TV?
Yes.
It's the new one.
I had the same problem. I had the 4, and I just got the 4K one.
And it's the same problem.
Traded up. Same exact problem.
Okay, well, now we've narrowed it down. It's definitely the AirPods, right? Yeah, see if there's a firmware.
It seems to be since I upgraded to tvOS 11.
Yeah. Well, that's right. There's some sort of weird interaction. They updated the AirPods firmware was updated in May. I don't know if they've updated it since then.
I don't think since then.
And it's supposed to happen automatically. You shouldn't have to do anything. I don't know if there's a way to force it. You could check the version on your iPhone. If you look at the firmware version, it should be at least 3.72. I think that's the most recent. I don't have mine in front of me, so
when I hang up, I'll check. But I'm pretty sure I saw that recently.
I could see that maybe iOS 11 did something differently, and they had thought they had updated in all the AirPods and blah blah blah. And so you might want to. There are ways to force an AirPod firmware update. That I think, and if you brought it to the Apple Store, that's almost certainly the first thing they would do.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Can I ask one more quick question?
Sure.
Yesterday, you were talking about the YubiKeys.
Yes.
Where do you find them, and are they accessible to the blind?
Yeah, they are. So it's yubico.com, Yubico. Okay. What they are is a little USB device. You plug into the USB port. The computer thinks it's a keyboard.
Okay.
Then there's nothing more to do. If you're sighted, you'll notice that the YubiKey lights up. Right. But if you just wait 5 seconds, that's what it'll have done. And then you press. There's a button on the YubiKey. It's very clear. You can feel it. You press it, and the only trick will be to make sure that your cursor is in the field that it needs to fill.
Okay.
And then it sends.
What about for the iPhone? How does that work for the iPhone?
It doesn't work with the iPhone because the iPhone doesn't have a USB port. So it's only for the Macintosh or PCs. There's another solution, a Bluetooth solution for the iPhone. I'll tell you about that in a second. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Yeah, for iPhones, you need Bluetooth. Yeah. And that's something coming from Vasco, V-A-S-C-O, called the DigiPass, D-I-G-I-P-A-S-S. I don't know what works with that, but I would guess that LastPass is very good about that kind of thing.
That's what I have. I've been playing with that today, trying to figure out LastPass.
Yeah, so what you need to do in LastPass, when you go into the vault... and you go into the account settings, you'll see a two-factor menu item that has all the different two factors it supports. Multi-factor options is the menu item. And it supports a lot of different multi-factor devices. The YubiKey is in there. Sesame. I don't see the DigiPass, though, so I don't know if that... You know, what might be easier for you is using Duo Security. Because what that does, I think that's really cool, is it sends, it doesn't send a text message. It merely sends a notification to your phone saying you're logging into LastPass and you say yes. And that is...
Where do you get that?
It's software. Duo Security. It's an app for iOS.
Duo Security.
Duo Security.
It's an app for the iPhone.
Yeah. This is actually a better way to do it than an authenticator. This is what Google's now doing, where they, with your Google account, when you log in, if you have two-factor turned on, it'll send you a notification on your phone saying, "Are you trying to log in?" And you say yes, and that's a very much easier. I think, especially if
that's connected to LastPass too.
Yeah, Duo. Yeah, I'm looking at LastPass right now. It says it supports Duo Security. I've used it actually.
I can do that on the PC or the phone.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I need.
Well, what'll happen is on the PC you're logging in LastPass. It'll say okay, and then it'll send a notification to your phone, and then you say yes, and that's exactly what you want. That proves you have that phone. Yeah, I love Duo Security. I think that's a very it's a highly secure way to do it.
Is it a free app or?
Yeah, I think it was free.
Okay.
Yeah, they're a good company. Hey, nice to talk to you.
There you go.
Take care, Tom. Bye-bye. Bye. All right. What do you want to do, Mark Wart?
I want to talk about travel.
Yay!
Travel photography.
My favorite subject in the whole wide world.
And we're doing, we're pre-recording 2 after the show today.
Oh, thanks for reminding me. Yeah.
So I'll do a 3-part travel thing on those.
You are thinking ahead.
Does that sound okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
My only suggestion, start with part 1.
I'm German, you know.
Everything's backwards in Germany.
Everything's strange here.
Yeah.
Everything is in fact strange. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was looking at German words and how they literally translate to English. That stuff is...
You just do it probably in your head automatically, right?
Well, you know, we have these compound nouns where we take 2 nouns and just stick them together, sometimes 3 or 4 or 5. And you know what we call small kids sometimes 3 Käse hoch, which translates to 3 cheeses high. Isn't that awesome?
I love it. I told you our 14-year-old's learning German and loves it.
Yeah. It's also very literal. A skunk in Germany is a Stinktier.
A Stinktier.
Stink animal. A stink animal.
Stinktier. Well, it's what it is. It's exactly what it is. We're going to go back. We'll be back and we'll let you know when we come. Because Michael really wants to go now. I tricked him. He says, I want Wiener Schnitzel. Because I think he thinks it's a hot dog. So I said, no, it's a veal cutlet. And then I couldn't get any veal, so I made a pork cutlet, which he's never eaten before. But
it's not German, it's from Vienna.
It's Vienna, I know. And I told him it's a Wiener Schnitzel. He said, ooh, this is good. He would never eat it. You still shoot film, don't you? You digitize the negatives, though.
Well, not exclusively. Definitely not exclusively.
Crazy, man.
I'd say it's probably 60-40 at this point. Well, I've come back to film because film is just... It's different.
60 digital, 40 film.
Yes, yes.
Wow, that's a lot of film. Do you travel? Now, let me ask you this, because I know you. One of the things Chris does, he leads these great travel photography workshops. Do you shoot film on those?
Sometimes I do.
Wow.
I'm actually in the middle of preparing for a trip right now, and that's one of the things I wanted to talk about today is travel photography, and especially. Well, just a few travel tips. I've seen that Johnny Jett was on earlier, so I thought we'd make this a bit of a travel-themed tech guy show.
And it's my hobby, because to me,
I do know.
travel is photography. I mean, they go together. They
go together really well. Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm in the middle of packing. I have this almost looks like an exploded suitcase, like still lots of stuff to put in there, and I'll travel tomorrow, so I have to. Get ready to do this right after this segment. And then, of course, there are these two parts of the luggage. There's the checked-in luggage, and then there's the carry-on luggage. And it's always this question, what goes in where? What makes sense where? And, of course, I mean, my cameras are my everything, right? I would never check those in. Way too dangerous for the cameras. You never know what happens to them. Film, of course, never check in film because the X-ray scanners that they take those bigger pieces of luggage through will simply not be good for film. They're too strong.
Is it okay to take it through? It's okay to take it through the security, though, right?
Yeah, to the scanner at the security it's okay-ish. It's okay-ish. Film
so you should,
normally
they will. If you say I have film, that you can hand it to them, right?
I'll try that usually. I tell them, please hand check the film. And sometimes they are okay with it. And sometimes they go, no. You don't worry about it. It's safe for film until ISO 1600, which I have my doubts about that. But anyway, so camera goes in the carry-on luggage. Batteries go in the carry-on luggage. I think most of the airlines don't even allow you to put batteries in the checked-in luggage anymore because they are lithium-ion batteries, and if those get into trouble, you should be close to them so you can do something about it, and you shouldn't have it in the luggage hold. My lenses go with me, filters, memory cards, like the stuff that I would just grab when I go shooting. One thing that I will check in is my tripod, because
it's so big.
Security, tripod could be could be, I don't know. Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but that's something that when I go somewhere to shoot, to do photography, a tripod is something that I could in a pinch do without. I could put the camera, prop it up and stuff. So if I lose that for some reason, that's not that bad. And yeah, I don't want to get into that situation at security where they tell me that, no, you can't bring that. And then what do I do then, you know? So now what do I bring in terms of cameras and lenses? I bring my cameras. I have a couple of them. So I have one with a smaller sensor, one with a bigger sensor. And I use one for more wider angle, a full frame camera. I use one with a smaller sensor, an APS-C sensor for a telephoto lens. But that's just me. Most people will just bring one camera. That's perfectly fine. I always bring what's called a normal lens, a normal focal length. If you shoot with a full frame camera, that would be a 50 millimeter lens. If you shoot with a Micro Four Thirds camera, that would be a 25 millimeter lens. Just a normal everyday walk around lens. Some of those come even in smaller form factors, like they're called pancake lenses. So they're, well, if you look at them from the side, you know why, because they're very short, don't take up much space. And for those times when you are at a destination and you just walk around and you're not really out there to just shoot, but you just want this walk around thing, those have proven to be very portable, very easy to take with you all the time. And then, of course, other lenses, they completely depend on destination. I mean, I used to bring a travel zoom a lot in the past. For me, that was a 24 to 105 millimeter, which is just a kind of a decent range with still decent image quality. And I've now changed that, but if I wouldn't shoot prime lenses primarily now, I would probably still use that because it's a really nice and robust lens. So that's a range that I can handle quite well. But I think what's most important is bring what you're used to. I think that's the number one tip here. Bring what you know. Do not go out and buy that new camera a couple of days before you go on vacation. With lenses, yes, you can do that, but in general, bring what you know and what you're used to. Question that I get a lot is how much battery to bring. I will often double what I use in one day. Like if I shoot for an entire day back home where I have easy access to a spare battery, I would probably double that. And then, of course, make it a habit to charge. The second I come back to the hotel, I put the battery on a charger so it's ready the next day. I don't forget it. Another question I get is how much memory to bring. And what I do there is I use memory cards like film, which means I will fill them. I will bring enough so I can fill up memory cards and not have to reuse any while I travel. So I have a small stack. And I will do a bit of math up front, like how many pictures would I take during that vacation per day? For me, that's somewhere between 200 and 500, depending on what I shoot. It's about 3,500 pictures a week. That would be my normal rate, my normal ratio. And then I double that, and that's the amount of memory cards I bring. They don't have to be the top-notch cards. If you do not shoot a lot of sports or a lot of wildlife, you will be typically happy with cards that are not the highest spec because your camera will kind of buffer some of that. So it's not necessary to buy the most expensive cards. Those are for specialists for certain kinds of photography. So that means you can go for the slightly cheaper cards, and you can, of course, be getting more cards then.
How much?
Because remember,
how much storage do you usually take per week? I always wonder how many cards I should bring because I do the same thing. I don't erase the cards till much later, till after I get home.
Yeah, I fill them up. What do I bring? Probably 128 gigs, something along that. Not on one card. No. Yeah, smaller cards, and then
I usually bring. Let's see, for my last 2-week trip, I brought 6 64 gig cards. That was way too many.
That's over. That's over. That's completely over. Now here's one thing. You do want to have several smaller cards, not one big card. This the too many eggs in one basket kind of thing. But here's a tip that since I've been using that, I've never had a corrupted card. I never had a problem with a card. And that's my 2-second rule. If you switch off your camera, open that thing that you take the card out of, wait for 2 seconds before you do that. Like turn off the camera, wait for 2 seconds, and then take the card out. Because sometimes the cameras will keep writing to the card after you switch them off.
You know what? There's so much here. Can we do another couple of shows on this, like next week?
Oh, I have plenty to talk about.
All right. Yeah, that's really good advice. Wait 2 seconds. I'm so impatient. I'm always ripping the card out and importing. What do you okay, now, actually, we should have done this as a segment, but maybe you want some more time to think about it. Have you downloaded the new Lightroom yet?
I have.
What the hell? What?
It's hell? It's complicated. It's complicated. It's
At least
weird.
we have the old one, but I don't have that much confidence that they're going to keep the old one around.
No one does. They keep promising they won't do anything to it, but they promised a few years ago that they wouldn't, that they would keep a box version forever, but they don't now. So
it's a different program, and it has none of the features pros want. Period.
Which is why they will keep Lightroom, the CC Classic, now for a while. I don't know how long. They claim they won't kill it, but
I bought it. I made the mistake of buying it, but I mean, it's kind of part of my job. But boy, oh boy.
Oh, you're not the only one who's angry.
Oh my God.
I'm really looking up. If I was Serif, the people who make Affinity Photo.
Oh, here's a huge opportunity. Yeah.
I would instantly readjust my resource assignments for their DAM. They are working on a digital asset management solution.
You know what I like? You know what I like? MacFun. Their Luminar is really nice, and they're also adding DAM to it.
Which is one of the big pros for Lightroom. But if Lightroom,
as soon as somebody comes along,
if they keep doing to Lightroom what they have been doing in the past, then there's not much future for that product.
Luminar is $70. It's Mac now, but they have a Windows version in beta. They're adding DAM in the next 6 months. They've been working on it for some time. I like Luminar a lot. It still has. Everybody's going to do this now. Lightroom's always had presets, but now they got the big filter presets because newbies want to start with a preset, but it's pretty nice. And it has some really neat features. If you haven't looked at Luminar yet, I would look at it.
I'll check it out.
Yeah. And yeah, Serif Affinity Photo is fantastic. That's a big opportunity.
Oh, and the Affinity DAM, whatever they want to call it, they have that. They have had that in development for a while now. Yeah. Won't be 2017, but I bet that we will see something in 2018.
See, and I just bought Photo Mechanic, part of my Lightroom workflow. I don't know, geez Louise. I was stunned.
That was amazing, aren't they?
I was stunned. I couldn't believe it. I'm looking for, where do I say where stuff is stored? Oh, you don't. It's stored in the cloud. But I have more than a terabyte of photos. Well, that'll cost you.
Well, the one thing that I don't get is the name change they're doing now. So they are renaming the existing Lightroom to Lightroom Classic. which clearly indicates that it's on the way out.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
We can talk about this on the.
I just wanted to make sure I wasn't crazy because I'm thinking maybe I'm going to play with it more before. I haven't said anything publicly yet.
Well, have you looked at Classic, which is now faster and is the old Lightroom pretty much, Lightroom 7?
I knew they needed to fix this because it's basically Adobe Camera Raw with a bunch of Lua scripts. But,
of course.
But that UI, every photographer in the world has it memorized in their fingers. To throw that away is kind of mind-boggling. It's like Apple with Final Cut. These guys... All right, enough. I got to go. Nice to talk to you. Talk in about an hour, right?
All right. Take care.
Thanks, Chris. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. You having fun yet? We're talking high tech. My favorite subject for years. I've been doing this show. I just realized I've been doing this show for 25 years now. Oh, my goodness. 88. Oh, wow. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. 888-827-5536. One of the advantages of doing this for a while is you understand viscerally that things change all the time. Nothing stays the same. I was talking off the air with our photography buddy, Chris Marquardt, about Lightroom. Adobe has announced this week at Adobe Max, their big conference in L.A., that they're making massive changes to the #1 program professional photographers use to catalog and to some degree edit their photography. Many of the pros I know, almost all of them use Lightroom, and many of them just use Lightroom. A few will go to Photoshop, another Adobe product. But, you know, if you're pro, you probably, Lightroom is burnt into your fingers. You know how to use it. So Adobe announced, well, we're going to change everything. Everything. We're going to, all your photos are going to be stored in the cloud now. You have to specifically say if you want a local copy. But no matter what, they're going to be stored in the cloud. There's some advantages if you use an iPad because you'll be able to look at your photos on the iPad, modify them. It'll round trip back to your computer, and that's kind of cool if you're a photographer that uses an iPad. But it's such a change. Now they're keeping the old version. They call it Lightroom Classic. Let's see how long that lasts. Shock and horror throughout the photography industry at what Adobe has done here. Very much like what Apple did. I don't know if you're a video editor, you remember what Apple did to Final Cut Studio. Just an iPhoto. Remember, they changed iPhoto into Photos, and everybody went, oh, I don't understand. Why do companies do that? I guess sometimes you have to break with the past, right, to move forward. And you know, like I said, that's part of the tech business. Change is a constant. But sometimes you just scratch your head, baffled. Let's go to Massachusetts. Aaron is on the line. He's our next caller. Hi, Aaron.
Greetings from Massachusetts.
Greetings.
And it is always a pleasure, and I do appreciate your show very, very much.
Thank you. I appreciate you very, very much. Thanks for calling.
I called last week, and with the power going to sleep at the drop of a hat issue.
Yep.
And I did the burn down, but I don't know if I got into the foundation or not.
Uh-oh. That sounds bad. So recap for people, including myself, who don't remember exactly what the problem was.
Well, it had started that the computer was just going to sleep at the drop of a hat, literally after 30 seconds.
You'd be working, and it would just, pow, go off. Would it go off when you were typing or just when it was sitting idle?
When it was just sitting idle.
Okay.
Like if you just let your mouse rest and, you know, you were reading an article, it would go to sleep.
It was as if you had a sleep timer for 5 seconds.
Exactly.
Okay. And my suggestion, I gather, was to just wipe the drive and start over.
Burn it down, start over, fresh install.
Reasoning being there that Windows makes some decisions about power management when you first install it. If those are wrong, which they can be, you're stuck with it until you start over. So did you wipe the drive and reinstall from scratch?
Well, I did the reinstall from scratch. I'm not entirely sure if I wiped because I never formally went through a format of the C drive.
Yeah. I think so. What happens is, and you can tell, there'll be an old Windows folder if you don't wipe it, if you just do an upgrade, and probably is okay. I mean, that's probably as good as a clean install, but it isn't exactly the same.
Okay, so that might have been part of my question. Is
you want to format the drive. You want to just start from scratch, erase everything on the drive.
Right, because it didn't come up with the Windows system.
No, you have to go in options.
Go into options.
Yeah, and then in the options you can erase the drive.
Okay, because it just went into the straight Windows install. It didn't bring up Windows where I could manipulate the drive.
Right, right. Yeah, if you go through the process, at one point it'll say hit O for options or something like that.
Because when I reinstalled it, that's where I got into the foundation because there was unallocated partitions on the hard drive that I removed.
So, interesting.
So I don't know if maybe...
No, that's a good thing.
Now,
if they're not allocated, it's just space on the drive that's not used. It probably wasn't very much.
well, one was like 600 and some odd megs.
Yeah.
But I had wiped those out when I was doing the install,
Good.
and now...
Then if you did that, you did a clean install. You can't just kind of wipe out partitions without erasing the whole drive. So you did a clean install.
Okay, because now it won't shut down completely.
So
I go from one extreme to the other.
Well, and now I'm thinking it's not Windows. So here's one way to find that out. Run a different operating system. You don't have to install it to run it. You can go to Ubuntu.com, for instance, and download what they call a live CD. All Linux versions have live CDs. This is actually a handy thing for everybody. You download it, you put it on a USB key, you reboot your machine, and in the reboot process, you have to change the boot order to say boot from a USB drive. And it'll launch the Linux. Now, it's not, you don't want to run it that way forever, but the first thing to see is if the power down happens. And the second thing to see is if you can shut it down completely.
Okay, so go to the Ubuntu.
ubuntu.com. It's free. It's a bit of a download. I think it's almost 2 gigabytes. You'll need a 2 gigabyte USB key. And you want to get a program called Rufus, which is free as well, RUFUS, to put that ISO that you've downloaded or IMG file that you've downloaded onto the USB key.
Okay, I will definitely do that and check the...
Yeah, that way you can, if you do that and you boot to that and everything's running fine, now you know, well, it's not the hardware. And so it's a diagnostic. It's not, although there are people in the chat room who'd say, and then install Linux on top of Windows and forget Windows. But I'm not going to say that. But that sometimes is the last resort. You don't have to do that. But at least it would tell you if there's a hardware issue or if it's Windows 10.
Okay.
One thing people in the chat room are saying, you don't want to shut down with a hibernation file, so turn off fast startup. That is in the BIOS. Fast startup then slows the shutdown down because you have to save out the contents of memory as you're shutting down. And if that fails, you won't get a full shutdown, and that could be part of the full shutdown problem.
Okay, because that might be part of my problem is that I didn't actually get into the BIOS.
Yeah, turn off fast startup. We're going to put a link in the show notes to a website called How to Geek that talks about the fast startup mode, why you might not want to use it, and how to disable it.
Awesome. I will definitely keep my eyes open.
And make sure, another chatter is saying, you've got the latest drivers for your motherboard. Go to the manufacturer's website and make sure you've got the drivers for that particular machine for Windows 10.
Ah, that's a good point as well.
Yep. That's the first thing you do.
Well, we take one step at a time.
We're getting there. We're going to fix this, Aaron. By gum.
And one more question, if you have a second.
Sure.
I'm possibly getting a hold of a time capsule, and I was wondering if I should set that up as an independent network or if I would be able to incorporate that into my existing network.
Well, Apple's not making these anymore.
Oh, they're not even making them anymore.
They're not updating them anymore, as far as I can tell. Apple's got out of the router business. So you can use it. I wouldn't use it as a router. I would treat it as a backup drive that's on the network. You're getting it for free, right?
As far as I can tell, yes.
So somebody nice is giving it to you. That's fine. I wouldn't buy it. But if somebody's giving it to you, just put it on your network as a network attached storage that you can back up to. But as far as I can, for instance, this big crack security flaw with Wi-Fi, nowhere has Apple said anything about the airports, which makes me think they don't. I mean, they never announced that they're not making them anymore, but they haven't updated them in years. That's not a good thing.
Well, that was part of my question with the security, if I should set it up as an independent network separate from my internet wired network.
No, I'd put it inside your network. That's fine.
Go ahead.
And treat it as an internal drive, yeah.
Okay, and that would keep it secure?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Aaron.
I definitely appreciate your time, and you have a great day.
You too. Here's a great tip, by the way, Windows users. Hit Windows key, type disk cleanup. Press the button that says include system files. You'll find gigabytes of old Windows installs on many machines. I see 4 gigabytes wasted on my machine. That's the Microsoft Disk Cleanup utility. Look for those system files and delete them once you're sure you don't want to go back. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. A word from our sponsor, Video Blocks by Storyblocks. You know, I mean, I think you know how useful stock video is in video productions, in audio, in your podcasts, motion backgrounds for your website, even your desktops. But perhaps you've been put off by the expense of royalty-free stock video. No more. We found a great solution. We used to spend hundreds of dollars a month on stock video. Now we spend $149 a year total at Video Blocks. All the content's royalty-free. You can use it for commercial or personal projects forever. Yours to keep, but put it on your hard drive. It's yours. There are 115,000 studio-quality HD videos and more coming every week. So there's a ton of quality content there for you to use. We're talking HD videos, After Effects templates, motion backgrounds, and more. And they have a marketplace they've set up, which I love because it benefits the stock video creators. You save 40%, but the original artists take home 100% of the sale price, and you'll get access to 5 million additional videos. That's in addition to your regular subscription at videoblocks.com/techguy. Oh my God, this stuff is great. Great video footage, all kinds, motion backgrounds, After Effects templates, logos, clip video. You know, you see this all the time in movies. You say, oh, this clip, look at that. There's a vintage clip of downtown San Francisco. That is awesome. Or is that New York? I love that. That's an After Effects template. Yeah, there's the Brooklyn Bridge. Go to videoblocks.com/techguy. Get all the stock video you'd ever need for just $149 a year, flat price. And save on millions of studio quality clips buying direct from the creator in their marketplace. You save 40% because you're a member. Great stuff. No more outdated or old footage and no more watermarked footage. You own it outright and you can use it. Have it all with Video Blocks from Storyblocks, just $149 a year. Just go to videoblocks.com/techguy to sign up. videoblocks.com/techguy. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy, hour number 3 of the Tech Guy program. Time to talk computers and the internet, and home theater, digital photography, and smartphones and smartwatches and augmented reality and virtual reality. 8888 Ask Leo is the number, 888-827-5536. That's toll-free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. You can still reach us from the rest of the world. Just use Skype and Skype out and call the ability to call a phone number from Skype. I think you have to pay a little for that, but the call itself is free. 8888 Ask Leo, the website. And when we talk about stuff, thanks to the chat room and the vast listening audience, we get often a lot of links and information about the stuff we're talking about, and we put that all in our show notes on the web at techguylabs.com. Those are free. They're open. There's no sign up. You can read them. We divide the website into pages, 1 page per show. Each show is divided up into hours. Each hour divided up into calls and segments. So you can drill down, find what you want. You can even leave a comment. And there absolutely no charge. Great search there, too. So you can, if you say, I wonder what, have they looked at the new Amazon Echo? And you can search for it and find all of the times we talked about it. 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number, the website, techguylabs.com. Back to the phones, and Nancy is in Tarzana, our next caller. Hi, Nancy.
Hi, Leo.
Thanks for hanging on. What can I do for you today?
I've been on 2 hours.
Oh, my gosh. I am so sorry. You're very patient. Thank you.
Anyways, what I wanted to ask you, and it was about the difference between the Echo and the Google Home. I have an Android, and I was also going to buy it for my kids, and they have iPhones.
So that doesn't matter, although because you have Android, you might know a little bit more about what the the Google Home does, because essentially the Google Home is the same thing as the Google Assistant in your Android phone. Do you ever talk to your Android phone?
On Google?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You say, okay, Google, and ask it a question. Right. That's basically exactly the same as the Google Home. So anything it's a good way to practice and see if it's useful. There is a significant difference in capabilities. Amazon's Echo came out 2 years before Google Home did. The idea is basically the same. They're a little device with a speaker and a what they call an array microphone, 6 or 7 or sometimes even more microphones that are designed for picking up your voice even at a distance, so you can talk across the room to it. And they're very accurate. They both have trigger words, Hey Google or OK Google for the Google Home. For the Amazon Echo, there's a variety of them, including Alexa, Echo, Amazon, and Computer. You get to choose. So you say the trigger word, and then depending on how you've said it, sometimes they go bloop, sometimes they don't. You can have it either way. And then you speak. Usually I just will say one sentence. I will say, hey, Echo, what time is it in Botswana? And then she'll respond. Both are pretty good at basic things like that. The Google is better for facts. So, for instance, last night we were wondering, when's the last time the Dodgers won the World Series? And that was something that the Google did a very good job with, quoting the year, pitcher, also even reading a little bit of an article. It was very good for the factual stuff. The Echo is better in terms of home automation. There's a wide range of devices, from lights to cameras to door locks, that work with the Amazon Echo. I can say, hey, Echo, how much gas is in my tank? Hey, Echo, open the garage door. All of those things, if you have the right devices, will work with the Echo, and not yet with Google, although Google hopes to do something similar eventually. Both will allow you to make phone calls to any phone number in the United States. Google Home had it first, but Amazon's added that. Echo has an interesting, if you have more than one Echo, feature that the Home does not have, an intercom feature. So you can talk from one Echo to another. We have an Echo in our kitchen and an Echo in our bedroom, and I can say, hey, honey, it's time for dinner, through the Echoes, like an intercom system without any wiring. It's really remarkable. Echo is good at music, but so is Google Home. Amazon's Echo works better with Amazon services like Amazon Music and Amazon Unlimited. The Google Home works with Spotify, Pandora, and, of course, Google's own music. So both of them will play music. Both of them will be kitchen timers. They're very similar in that functionality. Google Home has one ability that the Echo doesn't have, which is if you use Chromecast, if you have a TV that's cast ready or you put a Chromecast on your TV, you can have the Google Home cast video to the television. You could say, I want to watch Stranger Things on Netflix, and it'll actually start up the TV and put it on there, which is kind of neat. In other words, if you're kind of in the Google ecosystem, it doesn't matter what kind of phone you have. That's really irrelevant. Do your family members shop on Amazon a lot? Because that's another advantage that the Echo has.
Yes.
I do that all the time. When we run out of batteries, I'll say, Echo, buy AAA batteries, and she'll respond back, well, the last time you bought AAA batteries, it was this. Would you like me to order those? You could set it up with a PIN so that the kids can't just buy candy. She'll say, what's your PIN? And I'll say my PIN number, and then it will order them, and they come. I didn't have to do anything else. I love that feature. Google's getting some of those features, but they have to do it because they're not a shopping service. They have to do it in partnership with Walmart, Target, and some other companies. But eventually, I think Google's hope is to do the same thing. They're more similar than they're different.
Do you think Apple will ever come out with something like that?
In December, Apple is putting Siri on something they call the HomePod, which is almost exactly the same, except that they're aiming more at a high-quality sound. So it's going to really be a speaker that has Siri built into it than a Siri device. And I don't think Siri is, if you've used the iPhone and your family has, Siri's not quite as capable as either Echo or Google. It's kind of dumb in my experience. I find that when I ask Siri stuff, it will often say, well, I don't know what you're talking about, but here's what I found on the web, which is usually not what I wanted.
Oh, okay.
All of these are a little bit dumb. Don't expect, HAL 9000. It's not,
Well, my question, too, is because it's all done, I guess, by internet or waves, how much do you put yourself at risk?
Isn't that a great question? It is not sending your audio there constantly. So the way these devices all work, they have processors in them, and they're not sending anything back to the home office until they hear the trigger word. So all that's going on is they're in a constant loop saying, did you say echo? 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 When it hears talking, it matches it up to the sound form of echo. That's all it does, and it's done all internally, and all these devices work that way. Once it says, oh, she said echo, it continues to listen, and that audio is sent to Amazon or Google or Apple, whoever the home company is. In fact, you can look on Google and see everything you've asked Google Assistant. You can listen to it. You can listen to all the things you've ever asked Google, which is a little creepy.
No, because sometimes I wonder, because I've heard that Google is not as respectful with your personal information. So
I think Google is very respectful, but I think Google collects a lot. So Apple knows a lot about you, but has said very specifically, very explicitly, we're not going to do anything with that. Although if you read the privacy statement for all these companies, in every case they say we will share it with third parties for certain things. Google shares it with third parties for advertising, and they don't say, oh hey, listen, Nancy just asked about a vacation, so would you send her some luggage ads? It doesn't quite work like that. But they are trying to customize ads based on the things they know about you, and that includes things you might ask for, buy, watch on TV, stuff like that.
Oh, that's what I wondered with all.
Yeah, but with Amazon, you can't delete that. With Google, you can. So Amazon's paying attention too. Believe me, they want to know. They want to mine your data for shopping. So Amazon's very much collecting your data. The only company that says they're not, and I'm not convinced that it's even the fact, is Apple. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. So I know it's kind of a. I had to break there, but I'm still with you.
Okay.
I
know how much the Apple will be.
Yeah, it's going to be expensive. I think it's $400.
Oh, forget that.
The Apple's going to be nice for music. In fact, what Apple's trying to do is a really great speaker system that will adapt to the sound, to the furniture in your room, and it'll adapt the sound to it. The Siri part is very secondary to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the best deal right now is Echo and Google, and both Google's $129. Echo, I think they have now they have several sub $100 ones. They have one that's $40, the Dot. But that needs a speaker system hooked up to it. The Dot's great, though, if you just want to try Echo, and you can hook it up to speakers or a stereo system. Because that's how I use my Dot. I have it hooked up to some nice speakers in the bedroom, and it's nice because this is to me the single most useful thing. I could say, hey Echo, let's listen to some classic rock, and it'll play music.
Huh.
It's really nice. Google also has a little device like that, the Mini, that's $50. It's a little more expensive. Same idea, though.
Huh, okay.
Apple's a latecomer to this. They still haven't released their product. And I don't know how you feel about Siri. You use Android, so you may not have an opinion, but my experience with Siri is it's not that bright.
No, I use the Android because I just didn't need anything that sophisticated,
I would say if you had to choose,
yeah,
Echo is better for shopping, for sure, and for home automation. Google is better for asking for information and playing video if you have the right equipment on your TV.
Oh, I don't do any of that.
Yeah. I think Echo's the king. I mean, and by the way, the hardest thing is not deciding whether to buy Google or Echo, but which Echo, because there's an Echo that's just a tube. There's a new silver Echo that's supposed to be better. There's a little Echo that's like an alarm clock. There's an orb. There's the one I like and my mom loves is the Echo Show. This is the one I would look at. It's got a 7-inch screen on it, so it uses in all sorts of ways. For instance, you can say, I'll do it right now, Echo, show me my dash buttons. And it'll have
Here you go.
these.
Press the buttons to order.
I can order from the buttons, the dash buttons so I can order toilet paper just by pressing a button, or a screen is really interesting in conjunction with this. It also has a better speaker. So if you're giving as a gift or for yourself, probably the one I'd recommend. It's a little more expensive is the Echo Show because it has a screen.
Okay.
I really like the Echo Show.
How much is the Echo Show?
I think it's $200, maybe $229.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
so if you're not sure, get a Dot and see if you like it. The Dot doesn't have any screen, and you need speakers. If
you definitely need speakers.
Yeah, if you have old computer speakers. The problem with the Echo Tube is it's not the best speaker ever. So really, if music's important to you, I would say get the Dot, which is cheaper, and hook it up to a nice pair of speakers.
Okay.
You can also use it as a speaker phone. It has a lot of, once you get one of these, I think you'll see a lot of uses for it.
Okay. Well, you help me with my shopping. That's what it'll be.
It's going to be a great Echo Christmas.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Dr. Mom reminds me, she talked about this yesterday, about the Vox, V-A-U-X speaker, which is made for the Echo Dot. You drop the Dot into the top of the speaker, and it turns it into a better-sounding, full-size Echo. There's a lot. The Echo's been around for so long that it has a much broader ecosystem. Tens of thousands of skills too. For instance, with the Echo, you could play Jeopardy. Should we play Jeopardy? Let's see here. Echo, let's play Jeopardy. You get Alex Trebek and everything. You get the music.
Is Jeopardy.
And if you have
Johnny, and welcome players.
Say start to play the first clue from Friday.
And these are actually the Jeopardy clues from.
Nice of you to.
Goodbye. the Jeopardy clues from the last show, so you can actually play the game. If you have the one with the screen, you actually see the clue on the screen. There's a lot to be said for it. You can. Should we? Wait, Echo, stop.
Hope to see you next time.
Bye, Alex. How about this? Echo, fire photon torpedoes. Okay, that's really dopey. I do everything the chat room tells me to. 8888 Ask Leo. Back to the phones we go. Ron in Brea, California. Hey, Ron. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Good.
Thanks for hanging on while I fired photon torpedoes and played Jeopardy. I appreciate it.
That works for me.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, one of my, I guess my main question is, I listen to your shows while I'm doing work around my house. So I listen to you through KFI down here in this area.
Our mothership.
And I'm sorry?
That's the mothership. KFI. Yeah. We love KFI. That's where I started.
I like a lot of their programming. I listen to a lot of their programming as I'm working around my house. So I have them set up in various stereos or radios, from my backyard, garage, within my house.
Isn't that nice? That's great.
Yeah, it's great. And
I do that too. That's what I love talk radio, because it's kind of like somebody's keeping you company. There's something going on while you're doing the chores.
Right. Problem is KFI picked up broadcasting the football game, the Chargers, on Sunday.
Don't you love football?
I do, but I love the Rams.
Uh-oh. Well, we can't please everybody. I think KFI was very excited to get the Chargers, but as you know, they preempt my show on Sundays when the Chargers are playing.
Right.
So what they want me to tell you, and here's the good news, is you can go to iHeartRadio on your smartphone and listen there. They continue to broadcast the show on iHeartRadio.
Right. I realize I can do that on the phone, but then that would require me to wear headphones or something.
Yeah. So you have traditional.
Listen to you.
You have traditional terrestrial radios that pick up a, radio signal. But what you could do is replace them with internet radios, and that's what I do. They look just the same. They look like your traditional AM/FM radio. The console radio, the clock radio. A number of companies make these. Grace is a big one. Crane makes a bunch of them. But what they do is they join your Wi-Fi, and you tune them just like a radio, except you tune to internet stations.
Oh, is that right?
And I love it. I gave one to my mom. She loves it too because, first of all, there's internet radio coming from all over the world. Many of these will use a website called Receiva, so you can go on the website and say, these are my favorites, so it makes it easy to go to the stations you like and kind of program it. But those are pretty cool. You get one or two of those, and you can walk around just like you do and listen to not just KFI, but many shows.
Okay, I didn't even think they had something like that.
Yeah, they're if you go to Amazon, you search for internet radio, you'll see a broad range of them. They're not too expensive because it's not too complicated, really. They're a very simple device. Bose makes them too, of course. Lots of companies do. Sangean. The Sea Crane that I like is $119. Grace makes one that's a little more expensive, $173. I gave my mom an Ocean Digital, I think that was $85. There's a whole bunch of different ones. And, you know, the sound quality varies depending on what you want. You can get very fancy speakers, or you can get one that's just like that radio you're listening to in the garage right now.
Well, and that brings up another question from, I guess, your previous caller.
Yes, you can use an Echo to do this, too. You know what's an internet radio? Your Echo. So if you got one of these Amazon Echoes, here, watch, I can do it right now. It's going to be a little confusing. Echo, listen to Twit Live on TuneIn.
Twit Live from Leo's TuneIn.
And what you want. And now that's me, very fancy speakers, talking to me, just like that radio you're listening to in the garage. On me. Echo, stop before I go crazy. Okay, so this is an.
I guess your previous caller.
Wait a minute, now it's you. Wait, I'm Echo, stop. So that is an internet radio, which is kind of interesting too. They have a huge variety of radio stations through a program called TuneIn, but you also music and stuff. So there are many ways to skin this cat using the internet as opposed to broadcast.
Okay, so that's doable through the Echo Dot if I were to get a few of those.
Yeah, now the Dot has a little tinny speaker that you may be adequate, but generally what I do is I hook it up to speakers. You might even be able to hook it up to your existing radio speakers if you have decent speakers.
Yeah, I actually do. I have stereos throughout.
Perfect. If they could take aux in, there's a little mini jack on the back of the Echo Dot. You plug it into the speaker, you're done. By the way,
well,
that is my favorite. Yeah, that's my favorite solution because it's all commanded with your voice.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'll work. Well, I appreciate the information.
My pleasure. Thanks for the call.
All right, you take care.
Yeah. You may find, and you will find, that some stations aren't on the Echo because, unfortunately, there was a grand schism in broadcast radio. CBS, for instance, radio decided that, well, we're going to be on our app. And Clear Channel Radio, which includes KFI, decided, well, we're going to be on our app. And so TuneIn, which is an app that's independent of the big broadcast networks, has many, many stations from all over the world. But it may not have the CBS or the Clear Channel stations you're looking for. You'll just have to try and see. As you can see, I could listen to this show, but I listen to this show not through KFI, but through the podcast stream that we do. So there, we stream the audio as well. So there's limitations. It's not a perfect radio, but on the other hand, the limitations I think are more than made up by the variety. You can listen to the BBC. You can you can listen to Hungarian polka music. You can listen to anything you want because all over the world there's tens of thousands of radio stations, plus all the music and good. So CBS Radio is on TuneIn in New York, and iHeart is on Echo as well. So you're good. You're good. You could listen to. You'd have to. I presume you'd have to turn on the iHeart skill rather on the Echo. But once you have the iHeart skill on Echo, you can listen to KFI. There you go. Solves that. Oh my! I'm exhausted. I'm going to take a break, and we'll come back. More of your calls. 8888 Ask Leo. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Let's try this. Echo, listen to iHeartRadio on KF. No.
Getting the last iHeart radio station Leo listened to, KFI.
Solution because it's all commanded with your voice. So now I'm listening.
Okay.
Yeah. So it
That'll
works.
work. Well, I appreciate the information.
My pleasure. Thanks for the call. So I'm now listening. You may find, and it's even more confusing. Some stations aren't on the Echo because, unfortunately, there was a grand Echo stop. So that's cool. So that you can use TuneIn, but you can also use iHeartRadio. So I could say, Echo, listen to KFI on iHeartRadio.
Getting KFI from Leo's iHeartRadio account.
Has many stations from all over the world. Echo, stop. That said from my iHeartRadio account, which means I probably attached my iHeartRadio account to it. So you may have to do some stuff in the app. Yeah, we've been talking about doing a show on these things because I'm bullish as heck on these assistants. I don't know if it'd be a weekly show. Maybe we do an IoT show. Megan and Jason were interested in doing an IoT show that would include that. Artificial intelligence. Be fun. It'd be. I mean, there's definitely enough to talk about. I know. A lot of stop. A lot of people don't like how the Echo Show looks because it's kind of clunky. I love it, and it sits at just the right angle on my desk. It's really kind of the ideal desk clock. Echo, listen to KFI.
I could not find a station named KF5.
Echo, listen to KFI.
Getting KFI from Leo's iHeartRadio account.
Okay, so you don't. Echo, stop. So you don't have to. You don't have to say iHeartRadio. Echo, listen to Twit Live.
Twit Live from Leo's TuneIn.
The KFI. Echo, stop. So, yeah. I always say on iHeartRadio or on TuneIn just to make it better. I would love to get Stacy, but she's got her own IoT show. I don't think she's... Echo, tell me about the $1,000 bagel.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
That was yesterday, Dr. Mom. I saw that. Echo, how are the Niners doing?
Currently, the 49ers are losing to the Cowboys, 14-0, with 7:56 left in the first quarter.
Look at those. I love, see, having a screen is so nice, right? So it gives you the, and then it gives you more too. It gives you, now that you've asked for that, it's going to give you some other scores, and that's great. Good. So we're halfway through the first quarter. They already gave up 2 touchdowns. That's nice. Echo, who is the captain of the Zumwalt?
Sorry, I don't know that.
Echo, tell me about the $1,000 bagel.
Sorry, I'm not sure.
But Echo, it says it right on the screen. It says, Echo, tell me about the $1,000 bagel.
A special New York City bagel is on sale for a limited time at the low price of $1,000. Food and Wine reports. The bagel features white truffle cream cheese, goji berry-infused Riesling jelly, and flakes of gold leaf. All proceeds from each bagel will go to New York's emergency food program.
I'll take 2. Why is everybody always talking about me? Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Charlie Brown of Geeks, I guess. Jim on the line from Pennsylvania, Sarah, Pennsylvania. Hi, Jim.
Hello, Leo. How are you doing?
I am well. How are you?
Just peachy keen.
Good. What can I do to solve your tech woes? Because I know you call me with a tech woe.
I do. And it's driving me nuts. And it's driving the neighbors nuts, too.
Oh, wow.
And all of this is kind of coincident with a big ISP outage. I won't mention them. But they're generally pretty good. But the problem was that when they came back online, most of the Samsung DVD Blu-ray players all of a sudden developed a case of amnesia.
Oh, no.
Now they're declaring the HTTP port is disabled.
Oh, curse you. So you're being bit by copy protection, which is very frustrating. And this is happening not just to you, but to others.
Well, and it seems to be endemic to the Samsung brand.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it with a lot of other brands.
So you probably know that your Samsung Blu-ray player is connected to the internet.
Yep, obviously.
And the reason it is again, for copy protection. If it weren't for the paranoia the movie industry feels about pirates, none of this would be a problem. However, and ironically, it doesn't slow down pirates, notice. It just bothers normal people. What the reason your DVD player, your Blu-ray player has to have a port is so that it can check. You know, it'll say periodically downloading updates. The real reason is every time you put in a DVD, it checks to see if the key, the crypto key, is a certificate is good, if it's been revoked or if it's good. In other words, if it's a legitimate copy. Blu-ray has this feature because when DVDs were created with copy protection, they didn't build in the ability to change the key. And a high school kid, now known as DVD John, figured it out, published the key, and from then on, DVD decryption was trivial. So the Blu-ray people said, oh, man, we can't have that happen again, so we're going to have revocable keys. They've never revoked the key, oddly, but that's the thing. So that's part one, so that's why you have an Ethernet port. But you do get firmware updates through there, and it sounds to me like with the cable outage, boy, I hope this didn't happen. Sometimes when power goes out, was there power outage as well as just cable, or was it just cable?
No, it was just cable. Well, it wasn't cable, it was actually DSL.
Yeah.
So,
so the DSL went out. Oh, look at this. Samsung BD player reports HTTP port is disabled. Is that what you're getting? HTTP port is disabled?
That's exactly right. Now, all of the ports are open, and I know this because I've run it through just a DSL modem with no firewall anywhere in the software, in the firmware in that device, and it still gives it to me.
I'm looking at the Linksys community where somebody's posted this. This happened 7 years ago.
Yes.
You've seen this.
It happened 7 years ago. And there are all sorts of these fixes that are rolling around out there on the web. I've tried just about all of them.
All right, so I don't have to run through the 18 different fixes.
Correct. None of them work on this particular player. Now, other people have had success doing a manual IP and DNS and so forth. And they said, especially if you point it toward a known good DNS.
So is everything else on your internet working okay?
Everything else, but the thing that doesn't work when it came back was Netflix. Everything else worked. Now, obviously, if the HTTP port is blocked, you're not going to be able to see any web pages.
No. So here's what's happening. It's not a standard port. Port 80 is the standard port.
Right.
My guess is it's using. I mean, this error message is incomprehensible. It's not it doesn't. It's probably not accurate. There's only two HTTP ports. There's the standard HTTP port 80, and there's the SSL port 443. And that's it.
443.
Yeah. If neither one is blocked, and it wouldn't be if you can go on your browser, surf the web, or go to a secure site like, say, Amazon, then neither is being blocked. So that error message is spurious.
Exactly right.
So it is. So the power went out. So the DSL went out, and immediately after it came back, this happened.
Yes.
Have you tried downloading updated firmware for your player?
It's the most recent.
Okay.
Now, this happens on the two players that I'm playing with for neighbors.
Interesting.
Everything I've got works okay.
Oh, it's just the neighbors. Huh.
Well, for some reason. And it actually bit me. I was able to, I have all my own equipment for DSL because I don't like what they provide. I was able to log on to my router before the outage, and then after it came back, I couldn't log on to the router anymore because something happened to the stinking password.
When you brought your neighbors, did you bring your neighbors' Blu-ray players over to your house and use your router?
Yep.
And so it works with your player, but it doesn't work with their players on your router and your network.
It doesn't work anywhere. Their players don't work anywhere.
Anywhere. But your player does.
Well, yeah.
Okay, because at first I was thinking, oh, maybe since it sounds like something happened to your router, and maybe something happened to their routers. But none of this makes any sense at all. It's not. The error message is not right.
Exactly. So if it's out in the community, if somebody comes up with a suggestion or an idea,
I'm seeing this report of exactly the same error message from 2010, and then I'm seeing more from 2016. So obviously, it sounds like a call is in order to Samsung, to be honest.
I've already done that.
What did they say?
They have disavowed it.
Oh.
We've also called Netflix to see what their deal is.
So when you're watching Netflix, how are you watching the Netflix that it doesn't work?
Well, it would sometimes come up.
You mean on the Blu-ray player or on other devices?
On the Blu-ray player.
Okay, so it's the Blu-ray player that's the problem.
It was stuttering. All right, so there's a lot of lag and a lot of jittering. Now, my understanding is that a local telephone hut has a Netflix server. Netflix goes out and touches all these guys and says, hey, we don't want to have all this bandwidth.
Yeah, Netflix offers servers to ISPs. This is not related to that. There's something, the Blu-ray firmware is corrupted, I would guess. This is something with those Blu-ray players. I don't know how this relates to your changed password on your router. I'm just going to ignore that. And
no, that's just ancillary.
I'm gonna pray that that's not related. But it sounds like the firmware got messed up on those two Blu-ray players, but not yours. Can you force a firmware update, even though it's the same firmware? Can you force it anyway?
I can. USB stick, download it, and then shove it in there, and then...
I would try that, because it maybe the firmware got damaged, and it didn't get damaged on yours, but it got damaged on theirs. How? I'm not sure. Maybe there was a surge through the DSL, the phone line that was related to this power outage or ISP outage. I can't tell, but my guess is this is isolated to those two Blu-ray players, and updating the firmware might fix it, unless it's a hardware issue, in which case only Samsung can fix it.
Yep. Absolutely. All right. You've given me a good idea. I'll go try that.
Give that a try. And if anybody listening knows, as you pointed out, and I found it as well, there's lots of forum posts about HTTP blockage, even though that's not what's happening on Samsung Blu-ray players. It's a mystery. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hey, yeah, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Thanks to Michael Cozio, our musical director, spinning the discs for us this week. Also to Kim Shaffer, answering your calls, helping you get the help you need. Tech Guy, last segment of the week. Oh, man, I can't believe how fast it goes. Let's get Vic on from San Diego. Hi, Vic.
Hey, Leo. How are you?
I am very well. How are you?
Well, I got a problem this weekend. It's in my emails. I'm getting this mailer, demon notice, failure notice.
Yeah.
I'm getting like hundreds in a few hours.
Congratulations.
Yes.
You've won the lottery.
Yeah.
So you know what's happening here? That message means can't deliver. And, it's a nobody at this address, return to sender. And it's because some spammer has decided, hey, you know what would be fun? Let's use Vic's return address as our return address. See, spammers have millions of names on a mailing list, right? Most of those names are good, but many may not be. There may be old addresses or just typos or just not, they buy these things by the pound, by the ton. And the way they work generally is they're not going to use their return address. That's not the point of the spam. They want you to click a link or open a picture or something like that. They don't expect you to reply to that message. So they just pick from the list. You're on the list. Congratulations. They pick from the list at random a name, Vic's email at gmail.com. And anytime they send a message to a non-existent address, the mailer daemon, which is the server that handles the mail, says, nope, nobody here, and sends it back to Vic. Congratulations. There's nothing you can do about it. The good news is it usually stops because spammers like to rotate through these names, so it'll stop on its own. Generally what I do, in fact I have this anyway, is I have a filter that says if I get something from Mailer Demon, stick it in the trash.
Huh.
The only time you want those mailer demons is if you send an email to a non-existent address just to know that that address doesn't work anymore. So,
Yeah, about once every 8 months I might
exactly
have that happen.
So you can make your filter be a little smarter, look for the spam body and take something from that, for instance.
I have no idea what that means.
In the message it probably says, "Hey, get Viagra cheap," or something. Take a bit of text from it that's not mailer demon. If you use mailer demon, then you won't see those bounces in future. It's called bounced, by the way, bounced mail, because it bounced back.
So where would I start to try and eliminate this?
Well, what program do you use for email?
My email address is AT&T.
Yeah, so it's probably Yahoo Mail?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So I haven't used Yahoo Mail in a while, but most web mail, it's a web mail because you go to a website in a browser. Most web mail, if you look in the settings, will have a way of filtering out messages. And actually, that's a very handy thing to know about because, for instance, I have anything that comes from my wife, my daughter, my son, or my mom goes into the family folder. So I search for those addresses in the filter and say, when you see that, put it in the family folder and mark it with a flag so I don't miss it.
So where would I find this filter?
Well, it's somewhere in the settings. It may be Yahoo Mail, which isn't the best mail program in the world. Well, let me look. I'll log into my Yahoo Mail. It would be in their settings.
Yahoo Mail settings. I'm at Yahoo Mail, but I don't...
Yeah, well, let me log in, and I'll tell you here in a sec. I have Yahoo Mail, but I think I have Yahoo Mail. Maybe I turned it off. It's not my favorite mail program. And that's the company that leaked 3 billion user records to a hacker. You remember that? Don't worry, you're already you're on the list. In fact, that may very well be why you're getting the spam. All right, let's see here. So there's a gear in the upper right-hand corner of the window. That's the secret button for settings.
A gear?
A little gear in the upper right-hand corner of your mail. Do you see a little on the window there in the upper right-hand corner? Do you see a gear?
No.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
And then there, if you hover over it, you'll see settings.
Yeah.
And then in the settings, you'll see filters. So filters are very, very useful. Might take a little practice, but you're gonna press the add button and you're gonna create a new filter. You can call it spam I don't want. And what you're gonna do is you can filter on the from, the to, the subject, or the body. So you're gonna look at those messages and see what makes them unique. Maybe it says mailer demon in the subject. It probably does. So let's say it does. You're gonna say if the subject contains the words mailer demon, then I want you to move that message to junk. And then save it.
If this works, I am unable to send an email out right now. I can't even respond to a friend who sends me an email.
Well, that's a separate problem. So,
well, they both came up at the exact same time.
Interesting. So okay. I may have been wrong in assuming it was bounced spam. If you look at the message, the mailer demon message, is it your message that is getting bounced back to you?
No. Well, it says to my email.
Yeah, we know that because the spammers, if it's a spammer, using your email. But the body of the message, can you see it?
Yeah.
What does it say?
It says, "Greetings, Mr. Attractive."
Yeah, that's spam. I'm not saying you're not attractive. Believe me, I'm sure you are, Vic. But,
right, yeah. Anyways,
but you're not Mr. Attractive.
And I don't know any lady living in Russia or anything.
So you could, if you want, have the filter be the body of the message contains "Greetings, Mr. Attractive." And, that would be another way to uniquely identify it. That, by the way, would only delete spam. Obviously, you're not sending out messages, I hope, that say, "Greetings, Mr. Attractive." So, but this bounced mail is a separate problem, and I'm not sure why. So when you try to send a message to a friend, what happens?
I get a thing that says, I'm going to try and do it real quick here. And
it may be, by the way, Yahoo sees all these bounced messages.
Yeah. When I push send, I get a box that says unable to send message. To prevent abuse.
You've been flagged for abuse. That's related to this.
Yeah.
So they're seeing all the bounced messages.
Hundreds of them.
And they think you're the spammer, but you're not.
I know.
This is another reason not to use Yahoo Mail. That's a terrible response. That's a brain-dead response. Because, of course, you're not the spammer. No spammer puts his address in the return address.
What can I do?
Now, there is one possibility that I hate to think of, but maybe it's possible you are the spammer. Yeah, I know. Only if you've been compromised.
I'm compromised.
You may be compromised. So what I want you to do is look in your sent box and see if there's thousands of messages that begin greetings, Mr. Attractive.
Yeah, there is.
Okay. So somebody's in your email.
Wait a minute.
That's the outbound mail, the sent box.
No, in the sent, no.
Okay, that's a way to know if you're sending spam.
Yeah. Okay. No, there isn't.
Oh, hallelujah! That means you aren't the spammer. Congratulations.
Yeah.
So Yahoo, you could call Yahoo. Good luck talking to somebody. I don't even know who owns them anymore. But probably the best thing to do: call AT&T and say, "Look, I'm getting all of these bounced mails back from a spammer. I'm not the spammer, but I'm being blocked from sending mail because you think I am. Fix it."
Oh, that sounds. I guess I can do that.
Did you write that down? Leo says, I'm getting all this bounced mail from a spammer, and I'm not the spammer, so fix it.
They'll fix it because I'll tell them I know you.
Yeah, tell them Leo says so.
Well, that sounds good. I appreciate it.
Good luck. My pleasure. Thanks for calling. I appreciate it. We're out of time. I'm so sad. Thank you for being here. We'll see you next time. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Have a great Geek Week. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, TWIT, T-W-I-T. It stands for This Week in Tech, and you'll find it at twit.tv, including the podcasts for this show. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on Mac Break Weekly, iPads, iPhones, Apple Watches on iOS Today, security on Security Now. I mean, I can go on and on. And, of course, the big show every Sunday afternoon, This Week in Tech. You'll find it all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next week with another great Tech Guys show. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.